To you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Gorgeous day, so the roof is open at the Dome, and that makes it a very pleasant place for baseball. Take a look at our train game time temperature. It is 70 degrees, humidity fairly low, and virtually no breeze in the ballpark. Visit trainsearch.com to find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Their fares online only at southwest.com. Markakis, Machado, and Jones, Young, Cruz, and Hardy, Davis, Joseph, and Scope against Burley. My, oh my, for Nick Markakis.
Now let's take a look at Mark Burley's pitch arsenal this season. He used that fastball at 62%. Now he can cut it and sink it. Breaking ball 14% of the time, adds and subtracts with that, and he does the same with his changeup. He uses that 24% of the time. Probably his most effective pitch, that changeup. 22 starts this season, 11-7 record, 311 earned run average, 82 strikeouts, 37 walks, 142 innings as he approaches 200 innings again in his career. Opponents hitting 276, lefties at 280. Righties at 274. You see the home runs, though, 11 home runs given up. And that problem has come here recently. I mean, kind of a tale of two seasons for Burley. Got off to a great start, but he just picked up his first win since June 1st in his last start against the Red Sox. It was a pretty good outing, though. 6 2/3 and 1 run allowed.
He has faced the Orioles a couple of times this season, 1-1 on the year, and Nick Markakis leads it off, and we are underway in this 3-game set. Nick will take it away for a ball. Comes in with a 4-game hit streak. Continued it with a 2-for-5 in Washington last night. And you saw the big number against Burley. An unbelievable .435 batting average against Burley with a couple of home runs. I mean, that's against any pitcher. That would be absolutely unheard of. Against Burley, who generally can react to hitters against him. That is a major accomplishment. And that'll miss outside, 2-1.
Well, it sure is, and I'll tell you, Nick Markakis, though, so good against lefties throughout his career, really keeps that front side in, and Burley doesn't have that overpowering stuff.
And he adds to those totals with a base hit, and Burley just kind of looks down like, I can't get this guy out. 5-game hit streak for Markakis.
Staying red hot. Here's a look at the Blue Jays defense behind Burley. Cabrera, Gose, and Batista in the outfield. Reyes and Kawasaki up the middle. Brett Lowry making his first start since coming off the disabled list over at third. Francisco at first, and Navarro behind the plate. Remember, Burley adds to that defense as well. 4 Gold Gloves for the pitcher.
Manny Machado, the 2 top hitters for the Orioles, have been hot while everybody else has struggled. That is a great bunt if it stays fair. If Burley lets it go foul. So the tilt of the field. Just enough to take that foul, and Manny Machado will come back. He thought he had one right there.
Well, that was a great effort by Manny Machado. He's shown this bunt a couple times here recently, but just enough spin on it to take it into the foul ground.
So Manny will come back, and Markakis back to first base. Machado's also got a 4-game hit streak coming into the ball game. He extended it with a 1-for-5 against the Nationals last night. He's had a couple of hits in 9 at-bats against Burley. Mark Burley with a look to Markakis. Machado will go after it and foul it back. This is the 22nd career start and 24th appearance Burley has had against the Orioles. That's a lot. And even more to the point, it's his 452nd start, never going on the DL. Tommy who?
That's impressive.
Here's the 0-2 delivery and a ground ball. It's going to go towards short. Long range Reyes. There's one relay. Oh, mercy. That's a major league double play.
Pretty tight right there. And the Blue Jays, pretty good defensive team, and they've had to rely on their defense here recently. Got into a pretty good streak in July, winning some ball games. It's because of this defense. Reyes, a nice shortstop ranging to his right, but Kawasaki, quick hands at second base. See the quick range, nice feed right in the chest, and that ball is in the glove and out at second base. Pretty clean double play turn there by the Blue Jays.
So Reyes and Kawasaki combined. Goins has been playing a lot of second base. John Gibbons said he put Kawasaki in tonight, changed the lineup a little, hoping for a little more offense. What he got early is defense. And the pitch will be taken by Adam Jones for a strike. Adam, too, has bombarded Burley in his career, 357 lifetime average with a home run. And that pitch is in there. And against left-handers, of course, at the top all season.
Yeah, highest average versus lefties this season. Altuve, who's doing damage all over the place, 420s, Ober's 386. But there's Adam Jones, that 373 average. Big number.
Another one into left field this time. So Adam Jones is on with a single. We'll see whether last night was indicative of things to come for the Orioles. The fact they were able to put up 7 runs on 14 hits in that ball game, the first time in 15 games that the Orioles had gotten to double digits. And they'll try and do it against Burley here tonight, who gives up a lot of hits. Coming in, he was tied for 5th in the league in most hits surrendered with 152. And Young will go the other way against the shift. He's got a base hit. Jones will stop at second. Ghost will get it in. Well, now Young's hitting almost 400 against Burley. Wonder what goes through Burley's mind when 3 of the top 4 hitters in this lineup have those incredible numbers against him.
I know. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. Not a bad pitch, but here in the early going, a lot of pitches elevated to this Orioles offense. Delman Young taking advantage of it, not wasting any time hammering it through that right side of the infield.
Well, here's somebody who'd like to join the run here, and that is Nelson Cruz. Nelson has had 1 hit in his last 32 at bats, and he has not hit Burley well. He's 1 for 17 off Burley. Runners on at first and second base. There are 2 down. Double play, a big one here in the inning. That ball ladled, but it's going to curve and foul.
He hasn't had the greatest numbers against Burley, but he loves hitting here at the Rogers Center. 462, 3 homers, and 10 RBIs this season against the Blue Jays. Big-time numbers for Nelson Cruz, and Buck Showalter hoping that just him being in this ballpark will ignite that bat.
Runners on first and second. Orioles come in 4th now in the league, 268 with runners in scoring position on the year. Burley trying to get this inning over with. He's been tremendous shutting down hitters in these situations. 2-1 deliveries outside. Opponents hitting only 202 off him with runners in scoring position. That's way below the average in the American League, about 245. 3 ball, 1 strikeout on Cruz. Runners off first and second, and he walks him. Lots of stuff going on here in the first inning. Even though the Orioles haven't scored, they're loaded with 2 down.
They're making Mark Burley work here in the early going. Nice at bat by Nelson Cruz, not being in a rush to try to get things done. Now that's a big part of Mark Burley's game in these type of situations, taking advantage of the aggressive offensive approach, and he can really get guys to work off the plate, lose that weak contact.
Hardy goes to third base, forced there at third base. Laurie will take it there, and that's it. Well, that's quite an inning. The Orioles get nothing on 3 hits and a walk. They'll leave the bases loaded. The bases loaded. Here's the lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays. It'll be Reyes, Cabrera, and Bautista, Navarro, Francisco, Laurie, Rasmus, Kawasaki, and Ghosts. Last 10 games, Bautista getting the home runs and hitting for average.
And here's a look at Bud Norris's pitch arsenal this season. Fastball 61% of the time. It's a power fastball, and he is not afraid to come inside with it. Breaking ball, the hard slider 29% of the time, and the changeup just keeps getting better 10% of the time for Bud this season. Coming off one of his better starts, 7 strong innings, but on the year 8 wins, 3.69 earned run average, 80 punch outs in 109 2/3 innings of work. Opponents hitting just 248 overall. Lefties at 245, righties at 250. Bud Norris has had some pretty good success against Toronto this season, facing them 3 times, going 2-0 with a 1.83 earned run average.
On the road for Buddy is 4-5, ERA of a little over 4.6 this year in road games, which is above his career average in road appearances. Here is Reyes, who's been red hot, takes the ball to left field, going back on it, Cruz, and he's got it. Reyes jumping on the first pitch.
Now let's take a look at the best defense in the game behind Bud Norris. Nelson Cruz, Adam Jones, and Markakis in the outfield. Hardy and Scope up the middle. Machado and Davis on the corners, and Caleb Joseph swinging a red hot bat behind the plate.
Melky Cabrera, who's had a tremendous year, helping them to that spot where they are right now, number 2 in the standings. 309, 14 homers, and 59 RBIs for Cabrera, hitting in that number 2 spot with Bautista on deck. Pitch on the way by Norris, and it'll be taken outside for a ball. Cabrera's got a 4 for 12 lifetime off Bud Norris. 29-year-old comes in with a 40-56 lifetime record. 1-0 count on Melky Cabrera, and he's taking until he gets a strike. He had that bat locked into his shoulder, and the count goes to 2-0.
He gets himself in a pretty good hitter's count right here. I wouldn't be surprised if he lets it go. I mean, he's got some good numbers against Norris in his career, 333, and he has been an offensive force for the Blue Jays. With all the guys on the disabled list, they've been counting on Cabrera to stay consistent, and he has. A couple other guys that have stepped up. Coach Bautista has always been a monster for this Blue Jays team, but Navarro's been doing a nice job since moving to the middle of the order. A couple guys really staying strong offensively in the absence of Encarnacion and Adam Lind.
And he never had to move his bat. So Norris surrenders a walk here in the first inning, putting Melky Cabrera on. You take a look at Norris's numbers, are deep inside the numbers against the East. A very solid 4-1 record. Perhaps most impressive of those next numbers. 2.22 ERA and a 199 opponent batting average.
Yeah, pretty impressive against the American League East. I mean, I don't know if they expected that from Bud Norris, but he is a bulldog competitor. And we talked about the effect of his fastball inside. He is not afraid to get it in there. Leads the team in hitting batters, but he can throw a strike in there. He wants to get hitters to move their feet and open up that outside corner for that power slider.
Here's Bautista's 1 for 8 off the right-hander. Blew the fastball by him at 95. The runner on at first base, on base percentage of .412, the highest this season in the league.
Yeah, pretty amazing. He's done some special things at the plate. 74 walks, just 69 strikeouts this season for Bautista. That certainly adds to that .412 on base percentage.
Cabrera with the lead at first base. Infield plays him to pull. Pitch will be taken down low. Talking with some of the Toronto players before the game, they said one of the best things that's happened to Bautista is Reyes. I would have thought it would have been the other way around, but they said Reyes is the guy who keeps pushing Bautista. It's generally been somebody has to push Reyes, but Reyes is fired up this year about playing, and he's on Bautista all the time about doing everything right, getting ready, playing the game, being focused, and the guy said Bautista likes it, and it's helped him.
That's good. You know, Reyes missed so much time last year with the injury, and he was brought over to really be the spark plug for this Blue Jays offense. So he's fired up, you know, healthy this season, really helping the team out both defensively and offensively, and he wants to get this team into the postseason again.
Runner at first base, 1 ball, 2 strike count, Jose Bautista. Norris a look and a delivery, and he got one up, and he couldn't catch up to it at 97 miles an hour.
Wow. That is nasty. I mean, he really pitched Batista tough here, starting him off with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And take a look at the Nissan pitch track. 97 riding up to the top of the zone. Batista can't catch up to it. Beautiful pitch there. A couple nasty sliders to go along with it as well in that at bat.
This is Deanna Navarro who bats in that cleanup spot for them and doing their catching. He's 4 for 11 with a home run lifetime off Norris, hitting at 273. And Navarro, he's been hitting the ball hard safely in 14 of the last 19 games. He's hit safely at a 338 clip.
You see Navarro's power zone here. Pretty good coverage, top of the zone to the bottom. And he's moved to the middle of the order, and he's really contributed, swinging a very hot bat right now.
1-0 count with the walk at first base. Melky Cabrera being held. Hasn't made a move to go over there. Ball in the air to left field. Cruz has it lined up. He's got it, and that will do it in the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. One left on base. We've completed the first of this 3-game set. First inning over, no score. Game Patricia Thurman for Baltimore. 500 for being selected. 500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play the Orioles scratch off for the Maryland Lottery. Your chance to be a contestant. You could win a trip to the 14 World Series. Find out how at mdlottery.com/Orioles. Lots of O's fans around the ballpark and around town today in this great international city of Toronto. Bill and Susan from Forest Hill are here, and they wanted friends to know they made it. Saw them walking into the ballpark today, ready to cheer on the Orioles for all three. Chris Davis batting in the number 7 spot for the Orioles. First time since 2012.
Yeah, but incredible numbers hitting in the 7th spot. 22 career home runs. A lot of that time in Texas. They had all those boppers in that lineup. He was a younger player. Slide him down in the order, but 22 big flies. First game hitting below the 5th spot this season.
Just trying to give him a little breathing room, trying to get the bat going. It's to the point now where for Buck Scholar, just try anything. See if something's going to work. He is also 6 for 19 with 2 home runs off Burley, so you hope to get him in a spot in the lineup where he can relax a little bit and be doing it against the pitcher he's had success against.
Yeah.
Start building up his confidence. Leads it off here with Joseph and Jonathan Scope to follow. Shift is on in the infield. Pitch is outside. He walked him. That's 2 walks surrendered by Burley, and in both innings now the Orioles have had the leadoff man on base.
Laid up a couple borderline pitches there. Nice at bat for Chris Davis, not being in a rush. Pick up a hit here to start the series. Good at bat.
Burley had only 37 walks in the 142 innings pitched coming into the ball game. 3.11 earned run average. Here is Caleb Joseph. Joseph 2 for 3, home run in the ball game against Washington last night, and he'd like to continue the offense that's showing up and so would the Orioles like to see it. Any offense supplied without Matt Wieters playing behind the plate by the two catchers can be nothing but a little topping on frosting on the cake here.
Yeah, and it has been here recently. Last 4 games for Caleb Joseph, hitting .500, a couple home runs, 4 RBI, and his swing is on time right now. So short, direct to the baseball. It's been very quiet in the box.
Burley down to first, and didn't get to. Good play. How Davis get in, I don't know. Francisco made a very nice catch and a hard shot by Joseph. It looked like an automatic 2, and he didn't get it.
A real nice play by Francisco, bouncing off. Caleb Joseph staying inside, fighting it the other way, but a great slide by Chris Davis getting to the outside part of the bag. Very athletic attempt, getting out of the way of the tag. Keep this inning going.
Good play by Davis. They'll have a little laugh over that one down there. And with 1 away, Davis remains at first, and Jonathan Schoop back in the lineup. Jonathan did not play in the ball game last night. He too been working to get the average going. He has not had a hit in his last 9 at bats for the Orioles. Batting 9th and starting at second base tonight. Burley with a delivery to him will be up high for a ball.
Well, this might be something to get Jonathan Schoop going. You know, not an overpowering pitcher, so doesn't have to really gear up. Can stay back, see the ball, and then just trust his hands. He does have quick hands. Pretty quick bat right there, but a pretty good breaking ball from Burley.
Schoop hitting only .200 against lefties and .214 against right-handers this year. He is 1 for 6 off Mark Burley. Runner on first base. Schoop will foul that one back. Burley against the Orioles this season. He faced them in April on the 13th and won at Baltimore. He had the game against them at Baltimore on June 12. He lost it. And Burley trying to get one here tonight. And that's a little number that could be a base hit. Schoop charging it out, and he's on. Kawasaki did all he could, taking the tumble, trying to get the throw over. Not in time, and an infield single.
There you go. Hit it like he threw it. He really took a lot off in this pitch, 73 miles an hour. Pretty nice bare-hand attempt, but Schoop sniffing out that base hit, able to beat it out. Take a look in no man's land. Burley, pretty good fielder himself, but it sneaks by him. Schoop able to keep it going.
So Jonathan breaks his over, and the Orioles again get runners on at first and second base this time. Only 1 away. In the top of the order, Nick Markakis. Nick at .282 with runners in scoring position this year. Burley's delivery to him taken for a ball. Base hit, first time up, increasing that .435 average Nick has against the veteran left-hander. Markakis now gets the RBI chance. Orioles with 4 hits. Markakis on the off speed is on the inside corner.
Nick Markakis, most multi-hit games this season. He's just trailing Jose Altuve, who's on every offensive list. He has 47, but Markakis 42 multi-hit games. Melky Cabrera, he's been hot for the Blue Jays, 41 for him.
And then sped it up. 85 miles an hour is the speed up for Mark Burley, and he catches the corner. Had Markakis' bat tied up on that, and a 1-ball 2-strike count. Burley, the quickest pitcher in terms of getting the ball and getting it back in the American League. You got to be ready, and he got him, and Nick knew it. Well, that's just a bunch of how fast you're going to throw it or not.
Well, that's what he's all about, changing speeds. He's got that quick tempo you mentioned. Take a look at the pitch track. Nick Markakis covers the plate, and he had 3 pitches all over the dish. But it's just the fact that he started him off real slow throughout the at-bat and then finished him off with his firmest fastballs at 85.
Burley leads the majors, 17.1 seconds between pitches. Manny Machado now first and second and 2 down. Manny get into a double play his first time up, and he'll put that one up in the air. First base, Francisco in foul territory. Oh, he dropped it. Oh, mama. Now Shelton not view that on replay later tonight.
Gets back there and just eyes bouncing around a little bit as he's backpedaling, and caught him on the wrist. Orioles hoping that miscue will cost him.
He thought the AstroTurf sign was a Lego building. Oh, those hurt. Deep down in your baseball soul, those hurt. 0-1 count with 2 down. The off-speed pitch, and will miss with it. So Machado gets a green light on that one. That should be an error charged on that, and they've put it up to extend the at-bat. So now Burley's got to pick up a teammate. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that ball up in the air to left field. Melky Cabrera will be under it. He's got it. That'll retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error. 2 are left on base. Francisco is saved by Burley. Times this today. The Blue Jays can still make a run at the O's, but the Yankees and Rays are more pretenders than contenders. The New York Yankees 15 straight games decided by 1 or 2 runs. That is the longest streak in Yankee history. That's a long time. And Drew Smyly, Tampa Bay, he'll make his first start for the Rays. That'll be in Oakland. He of course part of the deal with the Detroit Tigers involving Mr. Price.
Well, the Yankees hoping some of their pickups can really bolster the offense to try to avoid some of those close ball games. The Orioles, of course, no stranger to the tight ones either. See Bud Norris's pitch arsenal tonight, really establishing that fastball at 73%. A couple good sliders in the early going, 27% of the time.
And here is Juan Francisco, and the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. And as they say in baseball, what are the chances that the guy who made a really bad defensive play in the last inning will lead off the next inning? It's the same answer for the guy who made the great play. 1 out of 9. 1-0 count from Norris. Shift on in the infield. Francisco inside on him, fouls it off.
But so effective. He worked that fastball in such tight late movement with the slider. That ball was probably going to work itself off the inside corner for a ball, but it looks like a fastball coming in. He throws it so hard, 86 miles an hour there to get back in the count.
27-year-old, played with the Brewers, coming over to Toronto, and there's a heater. Bud has read back a couple of times in this game. Gets that one in there, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, maybe not the location he wanted. To see Caleb Joseph setting up inside. It rides just enough up and out of the zone to get the second strike.
Francisco 3 for 7, lifetime off Norris. Here's the 1-2 delivery to him, and he's working him inside. Will not get the call on that one. Jeff Kellogg is our home plate umpire veteran. Over his history behind the plate, probably favors pitchers a little bit, but not a lot. Strike zone's pretty consistent and pretty much by the book. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And that one he almost got by him. Just got enough to foul it back.
Good thing it was down in the zone. 95 miles an hour right there. But Caleb Joseph wanting all the pitches that he's called inside. He does not want Francisco to get his arms extended. See the pitch track there. Even though there's a couple pitches left over the middle and away, Caleb Joseph has sat up inside on all 5 of the offerings. There's Francisco 16 home runs this season.
2-2 delivery on the way, puts that one in the air, center field. Jones plenty of time to get over, and he'll put it away. And one away here in the second inning. Join the Birds this Friday, marking the 60th anniversary. Appearances by more than 20 Oriole Hall of Famers: Brooks Robinson, Cal Jr., Frank Robertson, Jim Palmer, Eddie Murray. Stay after the game with the Cardinals, fireworks, laser light show, and a special ceremony on the field. Get your tickets now at Orioles.com/60 or 888-848-BIRD. Laurie gets the big hand as he comes off the DL today and gets back in the lineup at third base. Brett Laurie will step out, as stepping off was Bud Norris. He finished a rehab stint at Dunedin, Florida State League. Fractured right index finger kept him out since June 22nd. And the pitch is taken outside for a ball.
They were talking about him going to Double-A, maybe Triple-A for a couple more rehab starts, but he was feeling pretty good down there in Florida. They needed some extra offensive help, so he's ready to go and into the lineup here in this big series.
1-0 delivery. That's going to be a base hit down the line. Markakis will give chase. Laurie will make the turn. He slipped. He's got to go back. He was going to go to second, but footing came out from under him as he started to make the turn, and he will stay. So his first at bat coming off the DL. Solid hit the other way.
Yeah, pretty good piece of hitting here. Pitch on the outer third. He stays on it. Fastball 96 miles an hour and shoots it down the right field line. He's thinking about 2, but gets his feet crossed up a little bit and thinks twice. A little stutter step, and Markakis in right field. Chances are you might get thrown out at second base.
So he's on, and that will be the first hit for the Jays in the ball game off Bud Norris. Rasmus coming up. He's in the DH role. Rasmus struggling at the plate, only 180 over the last 29 ball games. Laurie at first is teasing Norris to throw over. He had a pretty good lead, and the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Rasmus has had good numbers against the Orioles starter. He's 5 for 27 with 2 home runs off Norris.
And you see his power zone. Pretty much that one spot, middle on the outer third. Make a mistake in that zone, and he can get to it. He's had 11 career home runs against the Orioles, and this season he's hit 3. So,
and a close play at first base.
Rasmus has some power, and he hits mistakes. Low batting average, but 14 home runs on the year.
Laurie's having a hard time with that bag over there. It tripped him the first time, then he almost didn't get back to it. And the pitch is there for a strike. Norris continues to pitch backwards, as we've talked about all year. Doesn't matter whether he gets the first strike. In fact, he's better when he doesn't. Opponent batting average after a 1-0 count is 220. After he gets the first strike, it's 265. Go figure. Bases empty. They hit 283. Somebody on, 206. Everything opposite of what the book normally says. That ball in the air off the fist. Jones coming hard. He'll get there. He'll look to first, but no chance. And there are 2 down. Runner at first base. Be sure to join us this weekend at Camden Yards for Masson's social media weekend, styled by Hair Cuttery. Check out Masson Sports on Twitter for more information. Share a haircut with a child in need. You can find out how at haircuttery.com. So Norris 2 away. Both of these pitchers, we talked about Burley with that 202 average with runners in scoring position. Norris at 206, at 194 rather. So I mean, both of them are really tough to get runners around on. You can get them on, even to start an inning, but pushing them across the plate's another story. Kawasaki getting the start at second base. A couple of hits, 3 at bats off Norris. That's one of the reasons John Gibbons wanted to get him in the lineup, put him at second base rather than Goins, who's been playing very well there. Kawasaki also gives speed, and maybe the only batter left in Major League Baseball who chokes up once in a while.
Yeah, he does. He stays short. I mean, he's up a couple inches off the knob there just for extra bat control. We've seen him spray the ball all over the field against the Orioles. His career hitting over 300. So I'll turn a nice double play in this ball game as well. And I think every night this lineup's going to be different.
He got busted on that one. It'll go to first base. Davis is going to be there and puts it away. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We completed 2. Roof is open. Nobody scored. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Luna. For beautiful new carpet, hardwood, and laminate, call 877-241-LUNA. A look from the lake, and there is Nolan Reimold. Reimold, the former Oriole, playing with the Jays, 8 games, hitting .304, a couple of homers, 6 RBIs. He and Danny Valencia, who's also with the Jays, exchanging pleasantries with a number of their former teammates today.
Yeah. Well, both Valencia and Reimold were brought over to help kind of bolster the offense after so many injuries, so many key guys going down. Of course, Valencia, the big numbers in his career off left-handed pitchers.
Burley working here to Jones, who singled his first time up. Young and Cruz will follow in the air to right field. Bautista. He's got it. And Jones is retired here in the 3rd. This season with this ballpark with the roof open, the Jays have gone 13-8. When it's closed, 16-14. Other 1-1.
Huh.
That's when the roof got stuck twice. Is it? Is that when the roof got stuck? Or halfway open? Oh, they close it halfway during the game. Okay. Yeah, sometimes weather conditions, so that starts open or starts closed, and then during the game they open it or shut it. In those games they are 1-1. Bringing you statistics that come from the bottom of Lake Michigan directly to you in our broadcast. 3-0 count on Delman Young. And up high for a ball. Didn't want to deal with him. Well, if you want to hit, you might want to come to Rogers Center, Mike. If you take a look at the numbers on this ballpark this year.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good numbers here. If you want to come swing the bat, 9.34 runs per game. That's the 3rd highest. Batting average, 3rd highest at 267. Home runs per game, that's the highest, 2.49. Of course, this is a slugging offensive team. 134 home runs on the season for the Blue Jays, but the ERA, that's way up there to third highest at 4.50. Always been considered a hitter's park. All just jumping the quick turf. Ball carries as well.
3 walks given up now by Burley. He's walked as many as 5 in a game this season, and he has done that more than once. A couple of ball games with 5 walks. I think he likes to pitch with runners on. Got one on here. Nelson Cruz, he drew a walk his first time up. Burley, 35 years old. And foul tip that sounded like into the mitt, and a 1-2 strike count.
Looking like a beach ball up at the top of the zone there to Nelson Cruz. Giving chase though as it stays up. He recognizes the spin, but it just doesn't come down. Up and out over the zone.
Look to first base, and that's the pitch they've been getting him on. Burley gets the strikeout, 2 Ks.
Well, this is money pitch, bread and butter changeup right here. Look at the late fade at the end, 78 miles an hour. Starts off on the outside corner, but works itself well off the plate. Nelson Cruz giving chase there.
So Burley gets the out. Runner remains on at first base. And here's J.J. Hardy, 2 down. Hardy hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Hardy's now 3 for 29 with 1 home run off Burley. Left-hander's pitch for a strike.
See how Burley's working this ball game right now. Yeah, he's been under some pressure, but boy, does he not fall into a pattern at all. Always mixing up his pitches, adding, subtracting, changing speeds.
Hardy on the 1-1 will take it up high. The Orioles are back to a game over 500 against left-handed starters. They're 16 and 15. That's 7th in win percentage against lefties in the American League. In the air and hit hard. That's towards the gap. Bautista racing, and that's going to come off the scoreboard. It'll bounce back to Ghost into second, a double. Throw's going to come to the plate, not in time. Delman Young scores. Hardy a 2-bagger, RBI, and the Orioles have a 1-0 lead.
Wow, that ball was crushed by J.J. Hardy, his 24th double of the season. He got a pitch up and out over. Trying to backdoor the cutter here, and look at the great extension. Squares it up perfectly, backspins it, beating Bautista deep in the right center. This ball had some elevation too, almost a home run. Catching the fence. See Bautista giving chase. All you can see is his number. Kicks off the wall. Delman Young, a great job scoring all the way from first base.
34 RBIs for Hardy. He's at second. It's a 2-out RBI in addition to that. And he's in a position to score now with Chris Davis. Davis drew a walk his first time up. Orioles now with a run on 5 hits in the ball game off Burley. He'll come inside to him that time, brushed him back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Boy, Hardy off to what could be an outstanding month of August. I mean, he's been hitting the ball all season long.
See the bat speed, 95 miles an hour off the bat there. I picked 4 hits up in last night's ball game with a double.
So he's now 7 for 15 early in the month of August. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Davis. Just trying to pick up an RBI. And Davis will foul tip that one into the mitt.
Look at Chris Davis, highest career slugging percentage versus the Blue Jays. Now this is all time. Chris Davis and Nelson Cruz at the top of the list. Now both sluggers have been struggling this season, but it's unbelievable what confidence against a team can do. They're hoping to really ignite their bats in this series.
Good stop by Navarro as Burley was down with it. 74-mile-an-hour delivery on that one. 3-2. Hardy on at second base, picking up the RBI. The walk to Young, costly. That's the one that scored. Shift on against Davis. 3-2. And Davis foul tips it, keeps his at bat alive.
Pretty good pass on that pitch from Chris Davis. Just getting enough of it to keep the at bat alive. 80-mile-an-hour cutter. See him get on the side of the baseball. And if he catches that ball, he's going to square it up. Just enough late movement to foul it off.
3-2 delivery to it, and he fights off another one. Chris's average with runners in scoring position is well above his overall average, hitting .256 in these situations, and he's been right around that Mendoza line of 200 for his overall average. Shift stays on. Here's the 3-2 again, and he got it. So Burley will pick up the strikeout. That'll be his third. The Orioles will get a run, one hit, Hardy the RBI, and they take the 1-0 lead. Maryland University College, September 29 of '96. Brady Anderson capped off a stellar all-star year. Final game, '96 season, Sky Dome right here in Toronto. Blasted his 12th leadoff shot of the season off Pat Henkin. Milestone home run number 50. First time in Orioles history a player had reached 50 home runs in a single season. Right here. Orioles in this one take the early lead 1-0. They continue to chart numbers when they score first. 43-10, still have the best winning percentage in the majors. When they score the first run, Hardy got the RBI to do that. Bottom half of the third inning, Norris goes to the bottom of the order, then Reyes and Cabrera, the center fielder, the 2-for-5 lifetime off Bud. In at third base, Manny Machado. And the pitch taken for a ball.
You definitely have to get in on Gose. Great speed. Much for power. No home runs this season, but he can steal bases. Great ability to bunt. He'll take advantage of the defense if they move back on him.
Came inside again, took a big cut. Fouls that one right straight back. Gose had gone down to the minors, and since coming back up, hitting .277, 13 games since his recall. Delivery to him is foul tipped into the mitt, and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Anthony Gose.
Pretty good cut fastball right there, 89 miles an hour riding in. Can't get to him. Bud Norris, 19th start of the year. The Orioles are 10-8 in the games he has started. Timeout asked for. Tomorrow night in game 2 of the series, Wei-Yin Chen, Drew Hutchison, Miguel Gonzalez, and J.A. Happ make the start in game 3. Ubaldo Jimenez with the ball club, not activated. Orioles have to do something by Saturday. 1-2 delivery, and just a wave at that one, and he got him. Well, Bud Norris on his game right now, really working consistently inside to both lefties and righties, and then opening up the outside corner. This two-seamer running off the plate 95 miles an hour, and goes no chance to catch up with this one.
That'll be strikeout number 2 for Norris in the ball game. Jose Reyes at the top, went after the first pitch he saw, flied out to left field. Machado stays in at third base to the leadoff batter. Reyes rips it. That's going to go down into the corner. Nick Markakis, a long chase on his way to second is Reyes. He will cruise in with a stand-up double. 2 pitches, 1 hit.
Jumping on him early, not wasting any time. His 23rd double of the season. He smokes this one. Hits the elevated fastball and gets on it. Catches it out in front. Hooks it down that line in good speed, but he knows Markakis is up there, so he's saving the legs, just kind of trotting into second base.
That'll be hit number 2 for Toronto. Reyes at second. Cabrera drew the walk his first time up. Orioles with a 1-0 lead here in the 3rd inning. And that ball in the air to center field. Adam Jones turning around, back to the plate, gets there, makes the catch. Tagging up, moving will be Reyes, but a big out almost 400 feet away. And you could tell by the way Jones reacted, he knew he had it right from the start.
Yeah, he turned to check out the wall, smile on his face there. Pretty good swing here by Cabrera. Jones checking it out, but he knows he's got plenty of room. Runs it down easily. He tries to catch Reyes napping the long throw to third base.
So Reyes moves up. Bautista with a runner at third and 2 down. Bautista this year hitting .287 with runners in scoring position. This is only the second chance in the ball game Toronto's had in these situations. Norris working out of the set. Bautista will take the pitch, and it is a strike. Bautista, an amazing number that he has reached base in 97 of 106 starts this year. It's a lot of times on. You were talking about the fact, part of that he draws a lot of walks. Reyes with the lead at third. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that'll be popped up towards the seats and out of play.
Yeah, he's been pretty well rounded. He knows his strike zone. Made some adjustments since coming to Toronto, really becoming an incredible slugger for this team. He's gotten on the plate, so really eliminating a big part of the guesswork on as far as figuring out the strike zone. And every ball, really, he has an opportunity to pull. When hitters get on the plate, their mindset is turn on the ball. Every pitch now appears like it's on that inner third.
Delivery to him. Bautista will take that one up high. And Norris shaking his head. That one just slipped and got away on him. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count with 2 away. Trying to work this one through with the runner at third base after the 1-out double by Reyes.
Got him chasing the high heat in his first at bat. 97 up above the zone, but here working the cutters away.
And a little roller that'll go to first base. Davis will take it to the bag himself, and that will do it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. We've completed 3. Norris, did he hurt himself on that last pitch? Take a look when we come back.
Yeah, on the finish, just kind of collapses out there. It didn't look like really strained anything. I just think his right foot got stuck and didn't know what to do with his body as he finishes off. Maybe just a little knee buckle there and limping off the mound. Looks back, but as he's walking in, though, he wasn't really limping, so hopefully he's okay.
We'll see whether he gets back out there or not. Here is Caleb Joseph, who lined out hard to first, and a swing and a miss. And Danny Valencia has come into play at third base. So Laurie is out. First game back from the DL. Brett Laurie, and he picked up a base hit his first time up, and now he's out of the game. I'm sure we'll get an announcement on what the problem is, but not good news, whatever it is, for Toronto.
No, I mean, he had that little stumble at first base. Maybe something happened there. See Burley's pitch count up to 62. Labored through a couple innings.
1-2 delivery, that'll be taken inside. Number 1 and 2 teams in home runs in the American League. Toronto 134. The Orioles just one behind. 2-2 delivery. That ball in the air to left field. Pretty good wood. They're not behind anymore. Goodbye, home run. Caleb Joseph is on fire for the Orioles. He delivers yet another home run in his first game played here in Toronto. And the Orioles add to it with his 6th of the year.
Wow. He wanted some offensive help. I mean, both catchers have been doing a great job defensively behind the plate, but Caleb Joseph adding some offensive spark here recently. Big home run there. Sunflower seed shower celebration.
Boy, Joseph really coming through right now. Burley's delivery will be taken for a strike.
Oh, he is really locked in. He's trusting his hands. The big breaking ball. He gets the foot down. And look at the bat path. Just drops the head on it. Down and in. A big homer for Caleb.
He had his 5th last night. He gets his 6th here. And he's homered in consecutive games now 3 times in his this year. 3 times. And the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Jonathan Schoop. Burley's delivery on the way, and he'll take it outside. $500 more for our Maryland Lottery contestant, Patricia Thurman from Baltimore. Schoop a single his first time up, breaking an 0 for 9. A little dribbler in the infield that got him on. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that one ripped. That may be enough. And goodbye, home run. A line drive shot. And that is where Jonathan Schoop loves to see the baseball, up high, because he doesn't miss many of those. And the Orioles have back-to-back home runs. That's number 9 for Schoop.
Unbelievable what a little dribbler can do for your confidence. He got on that offering. That was a bullet to left field for Jonathan Schoop. Orioles take over the lead in home runs now. Joseph ties it. Schoop puts him ahead.
Well, the Orioles have used the long ball all year, but boy, they have hit the ball hard off Burley.
Oh, look at this short, quick swing. Cut fastball up and out over the plate. Jonathan Schoop catches it out front. That was a line drive. Beautiful swing here. This is a bullet down the left field line. Not much hang time there. Valencia, wow, he was impressed as well.
And the delivery to Markakis, that will be taken outside. And Burley really struggling here in this game. A lot of pitches, back-to-back home runs. The Orioles have gotten 7 hits off him. 4th time this year the Orioles have gone back-to-back homers in a ball game. Markakis down the line and foul. And Patricia Thurman's going to have to open another savings account. Our Maryland Lottery contestants got $1,500 so far tonight. Don't tell your friends I want you to buy lunch. 2 ball, 2 strike count on Markakis. Nick has struck out and singled. Burley had given up 11 home runs coming into the ball game. He has given up 2 here in this inning. Burley had surrendered 8 of those homers to right-handed batters, so add a couple to that category. He just struggles against the Orioles, or the Orioles do really well against him, either way you want to look at it. 2-2 delivery on the way. Markakis towards second, and that's going to be a base hit. So Nick Markakis continues with a 2 for 3 off Burley in the ball game, raising his .435 average against the left-hander. The Orioles 3 up, 3 on, 2 in here in the 4th inning.
The benefits of the turf here, the quick infield. Markakis so good at making solid contact, beating Kawasaki up the middle. Tries to take that deep angle to get to it. Too much pace on that grounder from Markakis.
3rd game this season. Burley has given up 2 home runs in a ball game. He has not had a ball game in which he surrendered 3. Now the Orioles with a 3-0 lead. Manny Machado flied out to left his first time up. 0-1 delivery on the way. That's going to be a base hit against the shift, and some unhappy fans here in Toronto as the Orioles are pounding away on Burley with 4 consecutive hits, 2 homers here in the 4th inning.
Now are they putting together some good at bats? Todd Redmond now getting loose in the Blue Jays bullpen. Pitching coach Pete Walker comes out, give Burley a little breather, but there have been some great at bats by the Orioles offense. And Burley really always walks that fine line. I mean, when he takes the mound, he's taking the mound for soft contact. He wants the hitters to chase his pitches just off the plate. He does a really good job of changing his speeds, locations, adding and subtracting on all of his offerings. And if you can be patient, he will eventually give you pitches to hit. And the Orioles are waiting for just the right one, and they're doing some damage right now.
He's had double digits in hits a couple of times. He gave up 12 to Boston back in April. He gave up 10 to Oakland on July 5. Orioles have got 9 against him so far. 2 runs in here in the 4th inning. Jones up. He's had a base hit, flied to right, runners on first and second, and the pitch is inside for a ball. There's still nobody out here in the inning.
Take a look at what Burley's doing or trying to do against the right-handed hitters in the lineup tonight, using that fastball quite a bit at 74%, breaking ball 14%, and the changeup 12%. Now he's cutting his fastball a little bit.
Gets that one by Adam. You understand Brett Laurie came out of the ball game with lower back tightness, so in his return off the DL picked up a base hit and then had to come out of the ball game, and former Oriole Danny Valencia on to play at third base for him. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Jones. Runners off first and second base, and fouled back. Burley's career record against the Orioles is 8-9. ERA is not that high, 3.41, but the Orioles over the years have found a way to beat him. This year he gave up only a run on 5 hits in his first start, 7 innings, 4 runs, 8 hits. Second start, 6 1/3. And that ball, a broken bat pop up to second base, infield fly rule in effect. Kawasaki puts it away, and that's the first out of the inning, and a Bronx cheer in Toronto for the pitcher. Saturday afternoon when the Orioles take on the Cardinals at 4:05. Celebrate one of the most legendary fans in Orioles history. The first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the Wild Bill cowboy hat. Rekindle the roar from 34 as the postseason race heats up. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Orioles trying to extend their lead to 5 games over Toronto if they can get a victory in this ball game tonight. The 1 and 2 teams in the East matched up. Foul back by Delman Young. The DH has singled, walked, and scored.
You see where a lot of these pitches are from Burley. So many of them up in the zone. Yeah, there's some movement, but there isn't overpowering movement. The Orioles getting a good look. Delman Young just missing that pitch. He's on the pitch track right at the top of the zone. Now, Burley's stuff much more effective when it's down. In this ball game, a lot of elevated pitches.
0-1 delivery on the way. That'll bounce. Runners are going to move up. Navarro trying to find it. It's got to go back. Burley will come in to cover the plate. So there's the second wild pitch of the season by Burley. As the struggles continue, the Orioles get 2 in scoring position with only 1 out.
I think Patel Navarro not really expecting that one as well. Then slide over to keep it in front of him. Just kind of tries to glove the slider down and in.
So Young with a base hit can pick up a couple. The infield's going to be drawn in with the Orioles up 3-0. And Young will take the pitch outside for a ball. Delman, of course, has just been unbelievable in his role as a pinch hitter for the Orioles. Now hitting at .347 in that role. This one he puts up in the air into foul territory. Kawasaki, second baseman, charging over, but there's no play.
Kawasaki outrunning Francisco over there. He saw that first pop up, trying to take charge on that play.
And they chat as he goes back. Infield will stay drawn in. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Delman Young. And it's outside, and he didn't go. Brian O'Nora, first base umpire.
That's what he wants right there. Try to get the chases on the movement off the plate. Do him a good changeup. Nice job by Delman Young holding up.
3-2. Young will chop it. Runner won't come. Valencia misses it. That's going to score a run. Markakis will cross. Making the turn is Machado. He'll stay. And the fans rip roaring with the boos. And a really ugly start for Toronto. Now that may not have been Valencia's complete fault, because it looked like that ball took a hop on him.
Well, it sure did. I mean, I think bouncing off the plate, there was some spin off the bat of Delman Young. Valencia didn't anticipate it. Added with the movement on the pitch. Look at this ball. Kick makes a left-hand turn there. Valencia can't handle it. He set up square to it, and off it goes. I mean, boy, that ball jumped about 2 feet to his right.
So the Orioles lead at 4-0. Here's Cruz, first and third, and 1 away.
There's a lot of spin on this baseball. Man, oh man, if you're not used to the turf, that one can catch you by surprise, and that did Danny.
Still no call. Waiting on the official score for this one. The delivery to Cruz, and that will be taken inside for a ball. So they're going to give him a single, and after looking at that, that's fair. That's what happens when you're as hot as Delman Young is. Every little thing goes right. He's got 2 hits in the ball game, a walk, and he scored a run. Cruz will foul that one back. He has struck out and walked. So that's 10 hits for the Orioles in the ball game, and we are not through the 4th inning. So the question 2 days ago of where are the bats? They were in Washington and Toronto. And the pitch is way up high. Burley continues the struggle and a lot of pitches to get there. Is he really up to, how many pitches is he throwing? 91. Whoa.
Yeah, Orioles hitters really making him work.
Fouled off into the seats.
You have to have a solid game plan. You have to stick with it against the veteran Burley, and the Orioles offense really seeing the ball well. Maybe with a couple those type of hits. Gope had an infield hit, and then Delman Young with the spinning single in the infield.
And fouled away again by Cruz.
Austin Cruz would play good money for one of those type of hits right now.
Yeah. Toronto's coming off a loss in the series against Houston. Wrapped up a 10-game road trip on Sunday. They went 6-4 in the trip, but they've lost 3 in a row coming in to this ball game. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Cruz. And that's inside. Toronto is, yes, it's early. It's only the 5th, and they've only played 3 games. They've only scored 3 runs in 3 games in August. Fewest of any team in the American League.
You know, manager John Gibbons, after that series in Houston, he said that his team was tired and they were worn out. It was a rough month of July, some up and downs. Had some really good streaks in July and then a couple bad stretches as well. So really mentally grinding on this team. They were looking forward to that off day, maybe catch their breath. But here, back into the grind. Orioles offense putting a hurting on them here in the early going.
I have yet to find a major league team in 30 years that it has a losing streak that's really fresh.
Yeah, right. You're right.
I get so tired. I just stop. Just play. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Delivery on the way and a ground ball to short. Reyes has got it. There's one. Relay Kawasaki. And the crowd explodes. So did the Orioles. Joseph started it out with his 6th home run. Jonathan Scope batted next. He hit his 9th home run. And the Orioles added 3.
Off to a good start in this ball game. There was a scare in this last inning. Beginning of the game, though, good fastball to get Batista. Ghost goes down on the fastball, and here it is, the stumble on the mound. Little ground ball to first base, and he limps off the field. There's some questions. Is he going to be okay? You see him kind of crumble there. And the limp, looking back, blaming that mound there, but a nice night so far for Bud Norris, using that fastball at 63% of the time. Good slider 34% of the time. An occasional changeup in there just to mix it up a little bit. No earned runs. 3 strong innings, couple hits, and 2 Ks for Bud Norris here in the early going. And that was a look at the Jeep inside the numbers.
3 runs in the 4th inning probably made him feel a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
And a 4-0 lead. 10 hits for the Orioles. And we're playing in the bottom of the 4th. Bautista, strikeout victim, first time up. Devereaux, rather, up and flied out his first time up. Double in the last inning by Reyes, single. Laurie, before he came out, got that in the first inning. The only 2 hits put up so far for Toronto. And the pitch will be taken inside. Aaron Sanchez warming up in the bullpen, second reliever they've had up. One ball, 1 strike count. Norris with the delivery, and that'll be taken outside, and he falls behind 2-1.
The Blue Jays didn't want to get into that bullpen this early in the ball game. Of course, this early in the series against the Orioles.
2-1 delivery on the way, and that one ripped towards the corner. Nick Markakis had a busy night down there. Navarro's going to stay wisely on a perfect throw to second base by Markakis. Navarro on a leadoff single. Francisco will be coming up. Join the Orioles Bird's Nest. You can do so by going to osbirdsnest.com and earn rewards for sharing and posting Orioles content. Enter today's bonus code, Hagee, before midnight tonight. Receive 2 bonus tokens. They'll be entered to win the monthly prize of the autographed player photo or the 2015 opening day tickets. That's osbirdsnest.com. Juan Francisco flied out to center, shift on. They'll keep it a double play depth though. Foul back. Asked Manny Machado before the game. I said, all right, how are you going to play this infield now because it's so fast and hard? He said, you really get to change your whole game. He said, I'll be back 1 or 2 steps on every hitter. I won't charge ground balls necessarily if I think I'm going to get a bigger hop by staying back, because the ball is going to get to me off this surface as quick when I'm back as it would have on grass when I'm in. And he said, I'll also bounce a throw over to first base if I have a chance, rather than trying to gun it if I think I've got time to get it there. He said, you really rethink your whole game defensively on this carpet.
You really do. It's so fast. And Manny Machado, with that incredible arm, he can afford to play deeper than most players on the infield. And we'll see him at third base, probably back behind the white line, the cut at the infield on the outside here, in a little tighter for double play depth.
0-2 count with a runner at first base. Norris will go through the signs again. You know, the Orioles are keeping an eye on him in the dugout here, see whether anything looks funky in his delivery after the way he came off the mound. And that pitch is going to miss inside. Francisco with a runner at first.
Chris Davis backing off of Navarro at first base just to give himself a little bit more room. Caleb Joseph reminding Bud Norris about Navarro at first, but certainly can't make a pickoff attempt over there, but give him a look, maybe just freeze him.
Navarro started running on that last pitch. He wasn't going anywhere. Pitch will be taken up high. It's a great way to shut down the running game, get an early lead. I mean, these guys, this particular grouping right now doesn't run, but even if you get base stealers on when you're trailing 4-0 early in the ball game, you just can't afford to risk the outs.
Yeah, with these teams, a lot of times you won't see them run just because of the power that they have throughout the lineup.
2-ball, 2-strike count, step off. That's Joseph asking for the timeout at the plate. Big crowd on hand, Toronto side of it, quieted by the Orioles' start in this ball game. Delivery on the way, and that will be fouled off. Orioles with 4 runs on 10 hits. Toronto no runs on 3 hits and an error. The Orioles have already left 7 on base in the first 4 innings. 3 have been stranded on the other side. Buck Showalter's team looking for a 3-game win streak. Orioles are 15 games above 500, a season high, and a chance to add to that tonight. Trouble with the signs, or Bud just taking some time here. He's stepped off a couple of times in this at bat.
They're really not getting on the same page right now, or maybe Bud Norris has a different thought in his mind, or his ball set up differently in his glove right now for what Caleb Joseph wants. And here you go. Let's have a team meeting about it. Now, this is one of the things that pitching coach Dave Wallace and Dom Cheedy out in the bullpen talk about. You know, taking responsibility as a pitcher. There weren't many times where you would see a starting pitcher call Matt Wieters out. And here in this situation, Bud Norris has an idea what he wants to throw. Caleb Joseph obviously an idea what he wants to throw. Try to communicate and make the best decision. I think if a pitcher is in between, there won't be conviction in the pitch that he wants to deliver. Bud Norris, we'll see who wins the battle.
Delivery on the way, and that's going to get away, and the runner is going to go. Down to second base as we seem to be driving in first gear on the freeway here in this at bat. That'll be a pass ball.
I hear the fastball down in the zone. I mean, Caleb Joseph should have handled that one. Setting up away. It's not a terribly tough pitch to handle. It was 95 miles an hour, but catches him off the heel of the glove. Kicks far enough away for Navarro just walking to second base.
So Francisco, 3-2 count, nobody out. And there's somebody out now, as that will be strikeout number 3 for Norris.
There you go. Might have been just the idea, trying to show him a pitch away, which they did, and then get him on the inside with the nasty slider. Good job of finishing Francisco off. Real good slider there.
So Danny Valencia will get his first at bat in the ball game. Laurie out of there with that strained back, and this for precautionary reasons, making his return off the DL in this game with a base hit. And Valencia, the former Oriole, will take that one for a strike. Andy Valencia, popular Oriole with his teammates, acquired in the deal on the 28th. And Valencia looking to add some strength off the bench. And that's going to catch the inside corner. Valencia didn't think so, and it goes to 0-2.
A couple nasty pitches from Bud Norris here. And Valencia, great numbers against the lefties in his career, but not much he can do with this nasty fastball. 95 right at the bottom of the zone. Might have been a touch low. That's what he thought.
So an 0-2 count on him. Navarro off second base. That's in the dirt. Stopped by Caleb Joseph.
Take a look at Danny Valencia's power zone, up and out over, but he can expand off the plate up and away as well. So there are some holes though, down and away, down and in. You saw that last fastball pick up the second strike.
He's appeared in 6 games now for the Blue Jays, collecting 4 hits in 13 at bats. 1-2 delivery to him, fouled away. Had him out in front on that one, and a 1-ball 2-strike count of Valencia.
You're going to see Valencia play some different positions here for the Blue Jays as well. I mean, if Laurie stays on the disabled list or goes back on here now, coming out of this ball game, he'll play some third, first base. He has played some middle infield as well.
He'd play a lot more than he probably thought he'd play if Laurie ends up out for any appreciable time. 1-2 delivery. Valencia slow roller. Norris into the glove and makes the play to first base. Good play. Runner moves over to third, but there are 2 away.
Bud making it look easy there. Some hops off the mound. Chopper here wants to get it before it gets on that turf. Step back, a sidearm throw on to Chris Davis. Showing the ups too. Nice athleticism for Bud Norris.
0 for 4 now for the Jays with runners in scoring position. 2 down. Rasmus gets a crack at it. He flied out to center his first time up. Colby Rasmus this season in these situations hitting .164. Orioles on top 4-0. Big 4th inning, 3 runs, 5 hits in that one. They scored another in the 3rd. They've had back-to-back home runs by Joseph and Jonathan Scope. That coming in the 4th inning. The Orioles hitting Burley hard. Hardy's had an RBI double. 0-1 count, 2 down. Navarro off third base. Infield, full shift. And that's going to be 2 runs. Nick Markakis back of the wall. Goodbye, home run. Number 15 for Rasmus. And they're on the board in a big way. 4-2.
The Blue Jays do have some power hitters in the lineup. Rasmus, not the big average this season. He's been dangerous against the Orioles. His 4th home run this season, and the spinning slider up in the zone. And he gets on that mistake. 2-run shot gets him right back in the ball game. Bud Norris showing the frustration of that mistake.
13 home runs surrendered by Norris this season. That's an important hit right there, because the game was dying on the vine from the crowd's perspective and Toronto's. And that homer after the single by Navarro started the inning out. Cuts that lead in half. 0-1 count, 2 down. And that one punched foul. Kawasaki popped out his first time up, hitting in the 8th spot, playing at second base in the ball game.
Really, both of these teams so dangerous in that regard of the long ball. And you can really never count them out, no matter what the lead is. Get a couple guys on, and the Blue Jays, they have 6 players with 10 or more home runs, so a lot of power in that lineup. The Orioles as well.
Pitch is going to miss. 1 ball, 2 strike count. That one down low. For Colby Rasmus, he's had 7 home runs here and 8 on the road. Showed you this ballpark highly offensive this year. Part of that because that's true for the team playing here. 1-2 delivery on the way. Tried to rush it by him and will miss outside with it. Kawasaki, 2 ball, 2 strike count. 57 pitches thrown now by Bud Norris.
Bud trying to calm himself out there. Get back in the zone. Losing a couple balls to that arm side, really not finishing off. Saw that mistake with the slider. Finish out in front with it. Out in front. Kind of spun up in the zone to Rasmus.
Kawasaki asked for and got the timeout. Kawasaki hasn't had a hit in his last 10 at bats. Chopper to the middle. He's got one now. So as the Orioles did in the 3rd inning with 2 down, getting the runs. Toronto trying to do it here in their half of the 4th.
Kawasaki knows what to do. Get to 2 strikes and use the turf. Just put it in play hard. Once in a while it'll find a hole through the infield. Gets one chopping over Norris's head there. Keep things going with 2 outs. Pitch coach Dave Wallace out there with Bud Norris back on track. Just a little breather here. And Caleb Joseph on track. A little miscommunication earlier in this inning. Bud Norris pitch count getting up there 58 now after 23 pitches thrown here in the 4th.
Two away, runner on at first base. Anthony goes up. He was a strikeout victim his first time to the plate. He does have speed. Machado will respect that, moving in at third base. Coming into the ball game tonight, the Jays are 4th in runs scored in the league, while the Orioles are 8th in the league. And as we said, they are the 1 and 2 teams in the home run department in the American League. Blue Jays pitching is 11th, while the Orioles is 5th in ERA. 2 down, and the pitch will be taken for a ball. Navarro led this off with a single, and then Francisco and Valencia were retired, and looked like Norris was going to get out of the inning. Then the home run by Rasmus changed the color of the game. And that'll be on the outside corner for a strike. Goes 1-1.
So many lineups in the American League East, you really can't have any let up. Rasmus taking advantage of the mistake. In the 7th spot. We'll see what the bottom of the order for the Orioles has done. A couple home runs there from Joseph and Scope.
1-1 delivery to him. Ghost has picked up 4 hits against the Orioles this season. He's 4 for 11. He's got a good .309 career batting average against the Orioles. 1 ball, 2 strike count as Norris tries to find a way out of the inning. Kawasaki He'll be going on contact with Davis holding him. One-two delivery, and he got him. A called third strike, strikeout number 4, picked up by Norris, but the home run by Rasmus is 15th. Brings in 2 and makes it a 4-2 O's lead.
Compared to the rest of the season, the fastball up to 70%. On the season, used it 62% of the time. Really just couldn't find the command of any of his pitches. Breaking ball 11%, the changeup at 19%. 4 innings pitched. Orioles got him for 10 hits, 4 earned runs, a couple solo home runs by Joseph and Scope, 3 walks in the ball game, so good patience by the Orioles. He had 3 strikeouts as well. Now Aaron Sanchez comes into the ball game. He just called up from the minor leagues. 5 games, 2-0, 1.23 earned run average. A pretty good arm. Live fastball, high 90s with some easy cheese. Control, command have been a problem for him, but they needed somebody to fortify that bullpen. Calling on Sanchez to do it.
Good breaking ball right there. Sanchez is only 22 years old. His 5th professional season. He went AA, AAA major leagues already this year. That one will bounce on Hardy. Made his major league debut on July 23rd. So Sanchez, one of their prospects, certainly selected by the Jays first round, 34th overall in the 2010 player draft. Hardy will take it down the line in right field near the seats Bautista, and no play. Sanchez at AA this year went 3.82 ERA, 14 games as a starter. Then they moved him up, and he only had 4 games in Buffalo AAA, went 0-3, 4.19 ERA. And here he is. 1-2 delivery on the way, and the pitch will miss down low for a ball. Hardy continues hot, picking up the RBI with a double in the 3rd inning after the 4-for-4 ball game that he had last night. 2-2 delivery to him, will miss outside.
This has been the problem for Sanchez, just finding the strike zone. In the minor leagues, he was averaging over 5 walks per 9 innings. You can see the good arm there, 99, 98 miles an hour on the fastball.
Hardy with a 3-ball 2-strike count, 4-2 ball game. Orioles up, first of 3 for the Orioles, leading the division by 4. Toronto in second, and a Hardy will go down swinging.
Well, that was a pretty good one right there. Unbelievable movement on the 2-seam fastball. Look at that ball just take off at 98 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive stuff right there. That ball moved about a foot down and in on J.J. Hardy. Sanchez picking up the big first out.
Knocking Burley out of there continues the trouble he's had over his last 11 starts. We talked about the tale of 2 seasons for him. It continues that way. Fouled off by Davis. Burley was 10-1 in his first 12 games, 1-6 in his last 10, and could be a loser in this one. Kind of amazing. Just season went right out from under him. Winless for 9 starts before getting a victory in his last start, and the Orioles knock him out of this one. Now we'll try and do some damage to the bullpen. Jays bullpen ranked 12th in earned run average. You get the Orioles with the 4th best ERA, and that number's been getting better with each passing week. 1 ball, 1 strikeout on Chris. Sanchez delivers. Davis takes it outside for a ball.
So much of that Orioles bullpen strength has come along with the starting pitching getting deeper in ball games. That ability to stay rested and then match up at the end of a ball game.
2-1 pitch on the way. He got that one way back in right field, and goodbye, home run. And the Orioles have their 3rd home run of the ball game. And for Chris Davis, what he has done batting in that 7th spot before is deliver the dinger. That's going to be his 18th of the year.
Wow, that was a short, quick swing from Chris Davis, and you better not have extra in your approach to a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and Davis didn't. He got on that one. That was rocketed out to deep right center.
Sunflower seeds for everyone.
Yeah.
And the Orioles lead it now 5-2.
He has put up incredible numbers against the Blue Jays in his career. Look at him get behind this baseball. Wham! Pulled the hands in tight. The ball was hammered.
And another $500 for our Maryland lottery contestant of the game, Patricia Thurman. Patricia, I feel as though like I know you personally. I've said hello so many times tonight. 0-2 count, 1 away. And a breaky ball. It's a good one. It'll catch the inside corner. Joseph, who had his 6th home run his last time up, strikeout victim here, and there are 2 down.
A pretty nasty curve. I mean, Sanchez, the big arm, also the big curve. Look at that one hanging up on top, and the late finish catching the inside corner. Caleb thinking there's no way that was going to be a strike. Like it did pick up the black on the inside corner to get him.
Jonathan Scope, the home run, is 9th, followed Joseph's in that back-to-back setting in the 4th inning. Orioles getting back-to-back for the 4th time this season. They've been hit by Davis and Hardy, Davis and Cruz, Davis and Wieters, and now Joseph and Scope.
Look at how fast that baseball came off of Chris Davis's bat. 103 miles an hour.
Big cut got him. Well, he strikes the side out, but Chris Davis greets the 22-year-old with a long ball, and the Orioles add one here in the 5th inning. 1 run on 1 hit. Home run number 18 by Chris Davis, and the O's are up 5-2. PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union. CN Tower, of course, outside the Dome here in the city of never-ending construction. If you want to know where the economy is good, take a walk around Toronto. You can't go a block without another 40, 50, 60, 70 story condominium going up. It's unbelievable, and it's never stopped in the decade, I swear.
I know. Well, if you need one of those big cranes, a high-rise crane, they're all here.
They're all here. That is the Toronto skyline. Cranes. Man, and it's like that.
There you go.
You see that all over this city. Love Toronto. It's a great city. Such a cosmopolitan and international city. Jose Reyes will lead it off. 5-2 ball game. Reyes leadoff spot. He is doubled, flied out. Cabrera, then Bautista to follow against Norris. That'll be fouled away. But Norris has walked 1, struck out 4. Burley driven out on 4 runs, 10 hits over 4 innings. Orioles have had 3 home runs in the ball game. Rasmus has drilled the long ball for the Jays. 0-1 delivery on the way. Reyes takes a pitch.
Wow.
Woo.
That's a surprise.
Hey, he's one of those guys. He goes up there swinging, and he usually gets a bat on the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Reyes will take one, a bouncer off the plate that time. Reyes is a difference maker on a team. I mean, he's such a great shortstop defensively. He's got so much speed. He can hit, can get on base. He just changes things, changes the complexion of how a team plays if he's ready to go. 2-1 delivery on the way, and he'll take it up high. 3-1.
Well, you see him be aggressive early in the count. He had a stretch there. His first at bat, first pitch, second at bat, first pitch. Started this at bat, first pitch swinging, but a couple pitches out of the zone. See the pitch track there, and he lays off him. So well aware of his own strike zone and when he wants to be aggressive.
3-1 delivery on the way, and that's a walk. And a leadoff walk. Only the second one surrendered by Norris in the ballgame. Time now for all fans to tweet their photo using hashtag #MASSandFanPhotos. A chance to have it shown in a future broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Gary Thorne and Mike Borda, great to have you with us. We start this 3-game set here in Toronto. Of the 2 teams vying for that top spot, now held by the Orioles. Wei-Yin Chen, Drew Hutchison tomorrow. Miguel Gonzalez, J.A. Happ in game 3. Very short road trip, then the Orioles will return home. As the Cardinals are coming. The Cardinals are coming. More interleague play. Melky Cabrera. He has walked and flied out to center. Against Norris, 4 for 13 lifetime. Runner at first, nobody out. Cabrera reaching, fouls it back.
Cabrera has been a huge reason why the Blue Jays have been able to stay so close to the Orioles. He's had consistent offensive performance all season long. Batting average up there, multi-hit games, driving the ball for power as well.
Cabrera's 8th in the league in average coming into the day. Second to Altuve in hits. Here's the 0-2 delivery to him, and that's down to third. That's going to be trouble. That's got spin the other way. An infield hit from Melky Cabrera. Right off the bat, you could see the ball spinning towards the fair side of the line.
Well, it happens for both teams. There you go. Spins, gets the kick back. The Super Bowl down there. Manny Machado playing so deep on Cabrera. Nothing he could do in that situation, but hope it goes foul.
That'll be hit number 6 for Toronto. It will bring up Bautista, who has struck out, grounded out. This brings the fans to life. Nobody out. Infield double play depth. Bautista will take it for a strike on the inside corner.
Good slider right there to get ahead. He's really pitched him tough the first two at bats. There's a big strikeout in his first at bat. Hitting on a high fastball, 97. Couple good sliders in the second at bat. A weak ground ball to first. And here starting him off with a good slider.
One of those big moments in a ball game right here. He's the potential tying run. Pickoff none. Jonathan Scope there. Reyes diving back in. Reyes will keep your attention out there in all situations. If you give him any room, he'll go.
Jonathan Scope in tight just for that reason.
Norris 0-1. Bautista right to Scope. There's one, and there's a big double play. Perfectly positioned. Scope playing him to pull, and it went right to him.
There you go. Shift benefiting the Orioles again. Perfectly positioned. We've seen some choppers find their way up the middle, but there's Jonathan Scope right behind Bud Norris, and it becomes a very easy double play for Scope.
So a runner at third base, but there are two away. And that will bring Navarro up. Picked up a single his last time up. He is also flied out. Runner at third, two down. Norris with a chance to get out of the inning, giving up nothing after the first two got on. Reyes the runner at third. And a swing and a miss. Tatiana Navarro.
That's a really good fastball down and away. Not a lot of damage you can do with that pitch. Good velocity as well from Bud Norris. The infield and the outfield playing pretty much straight up on Navarro.
Navarro 323 with runners in scoring position this year. 0-1 delivery to it. And that's a strike. And Norris comes right at him and gets ahead of him here. 0-2.
Why not? Go right back to that spot. Couple perfect pitches. Take a look at the pitch track. First fastball 94, second one at 95, just dotted down and away.
0-2 the count. And that one's going to be inside. Joseph leaning in to make sure it didn't get by. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Navarro. Reyes, a little walking lead at third. Anything gets by pass ball type thing, he'll score as he gets off pretty good. Machado's back deep. 1-2 delivery on the way, and he got him to chase, and Norris gets it done. 5 strikeouts in the game, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Picket fence being put up by Toronto as they've left a runner on base, 1 each of the first 5 innings. Tomorrow, Wei and Chen will be on the mound against Drew Hutchison. Our coverage on MASN begins at 6:30 with those extra, presented by Dodge, and our game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
Take a look at tomorrow's starters. Well, Wei Chen, he has been on a roll. He's won 5 games in a row, and he's been dominant his last 2 starts, 8 innings and then 7 1/3, just 1 earned run allowed. Drew Hutchison, it's been an up and down year for him, but he has pitched tough against the Orioles in his 3 starts. He's given up just 2 earned runs in 19 innings. Should be a pretty good matchup tomorrow.
Aaron Sanchez on in relief, working his 2nd inning. Nick Markakis at the plate, already with 2 hits. Nick's had 2 singles and he has struck out. His hit streak is now up to 5. He scored in the 4th inning, and that will be taken for a strike. Sanchez gets ahead of him 0-2. Youngster on for Burley, from a 35-year-old to a 22-year-old. 0-2 delivery, and he'll miss up high with it. Ball and 2 strikes. With the firepower, with the Orioles getting that home run by Chris Davis to add that run in the 5th. Looks so much different than a 4-2 ball game. Pitch will be taken inside. Orioles batting here in the top of the 6th inning. Markakis down to first, and that will go foul. Nick here in this ballpark, .292 average coming in. 6 of his 12 career home runs against Toronto have been hit here.
Pretty amazing some of the numbers that some of the Orioles hitters have had here against the Blue Jays and in Rogers Center. Markakis, of course, incredible numbers. Chris Davis, Cruz, Adam Jones. Pretty impressive stats. Some offensive thump coming out of the Orioles bats.
It used to be a ballpark when you open the roof, the flags that are hanging out there in center field over the scoreboard just to blow up. Literally, I don't mean blow up, but blow upward. The air conditioning used to be on here, and you could watch the flags up in the air. You don't see that anymore. I suspect, number one, there's no air conditioning on because there's no need of it tonight. Roof is open. Guys used to pray who came here to play opposition that you'd open the roof. Pitch on the way, that's outside. I'm going to add a tag to that story in a minute. Our PNC minor league report brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you.
Well, Dylan Bundy pitching in Frederick, and he's been on his game tonight. 4 1/3, 5 hits, no runs given up, no walks, but 7 strikeouts. Fastball velocity getting up to 96. See his last 3 starts, 1.23 earned run average, 11 strikeouts. His 14 2/3 innings of work. So things looking really good for Dylan Bundy. Never know, are the Orioles going to see him in September? He keeps throwing well. You never know.
No, I thought you were going to answer it there. I was going to wait and see.
I mean, it's nice to see his velocity up.
Yeah.
I mean, feeling strong.
Yes. Certainly nice to have him available, whether he comes or not. Runner on at first base, Manny Machado a base hit. He's flied out into a double play. I was thinking another reason those flags may have been flying up early on when the dome was built was activities out there in those hotel rooms in center field, but I'm not sure about that. And for those of you unfamiliar with that, you got to go and check it out online. Here's the 2-0 delivery, and that'll be fouled off. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Does he have some good life on that fastball down the 2-seamer? Manny Machado swinging over the top there. Good hitters count. Good velocity, good late movement from Sanchez.
Machado, Markakis short lead at first base. Manny a big hopper to third. Danny Valencia up. There's one. Kawasaki off the mark and taken out and down. Nick Markakis going in hard at second base. Kawasaki got dumped. Says he is all right.
Well, the high chopper gives Markakis time to get on Kawasaki. Pretty nice play by Valencia, but look at how hard Markakis going into Kawasaki. getting a piece. The Blue Jays know Markakis, Jones, everybody in this lineup. They get down there, they're going to try to break it up. Nice job by Markakis there.
So one away in the fielder's choice. Nick preventing the double play from being turned. Adam Jones has popped out, flied out, and singled. And Jones will take the pitch down low for a ball. Adam came in with a .270 career batting average in this ballpark and 12 home runs. Adam's got 24 career home runs against Toronto. 1-0. And that pitch will be taken down low, 2-0.
Adams, some incredible numbers. We talked about some of the players, but got 12 home runs here at the Rogers Center. So he loves it when they go across the border. He loves facing the Blue Jays anyway.
Runner off first, Manny Machado, delivery to Jones. That's a strike. Jones and Markakis continue to be the only twosome in the league to have played in every ball game. They just wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, some guys actually want a break once in a while, come out, get a rest. Jones and Markakis scream and holler about not having that happen. And Adam with a good pitch inside from Sanchez. 2-2.
Oh, he's throwing some good fastballs. Got the four-seamer, good velocity. That two-seamer coming up big for him here. Orioles hitters just swinging over the top of it, keeping it down in the zone as well.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Infield plays him to pull. Fouls that one off to hold the count. I thought they were going to have about 30,000 here at the ballpark for the ball game tonight. Big crowd is on hand. These 1 and 2 teams in the East generating some baseball interest. The Orioles leading Toronto by 4. Here's the 2-2 and inside. Off speed delivery. 3 ball, 2 strike count. The 36 pitches thrown by Sanchez.
See the pitch track there. Everything working down. That last breaking ball, though, missing his spot. Navarro wanting it down and away. It backed up inside.
3-2, and he walked him. So the Orioles get a couple on here with 1 away. The race for first place in the American League East will return to Baltimore as the Orioles and Blue Jays square off at the Yard for a 3-game series beginning Monday, September 15th. Get your tickets now. Could be a huge series in deciding the division crown. Good seats still remain, but will not last. Go to Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Another visit to the mound here with 2 on and 1 away. 2 walks in the inning by Sanchez. Delvin Young coming to the plate. 2 singles, a walk, a run scored. Brett Cecil in the bullpen. Young, the designated hitter. And will take the first pitch for a strike. Young is hit regardless of the position he's asked to fill on any given night, whether it's playing in left field, DHing, coming on as a pinch hitter. Successful in all of them. Kawasaki's got it. Reyes across the bag. The outs recorded. Good slide again, though. Breaking up the double play was Jones. And there's one of those plays. If the rule we had at the first of the year was still in effect, the runner would have been safe at second base.
Yeah, that transfer rule. I mean, the chopper. Look at Adam Jones all on top of Reyes, wreaking havoc in the middle of the infield. They are so aware of how well Adam Jones gets down there to break up double plays. And every time these teams meet, he gets a piece of a middle infielder, and Reyes trying to get up and out of the way. But Showalter questioning, did Reyes actually have control of this baseball? Might have been a catch there as he stepped on the base, and then when he tried to make that transfer to the hand. Did he catch it clean? Yeah, it looks like it's in there, and then the transfer is when he lost it. Adam Jones responsible for that.
So Machado will move over to third base. Young is on at first on the fielder's choice. There are 2 down, and Nelson Cruz, he's hit into a double play, struck out and walked, and Nelson will foul that one back. So Cruz the opportunity to increase the Orioles lead as he'll go after the 2-out RBI. Cruz on the year, 255 with runners in scoring position. Brian Mattis in the bullpen for the Orioles. Norris has gone the distance, the starter for the O's. Throw to third, Manny Machado back. Valencia moving in behind him.
The set play right here, wanting the fastball up and in. Try this back pick on Machado, possibly catch him sleeping. Nice job by Manny. Good heads up play right there.
1 ball, 1 strikeout on Cruz. Ground ball, and he's got a base hit and an RBI. So Cruz comes through with a 2-out single, and the Orioles extend their lead to 6-2 as Manny Machado scores. And that'll make Cruz feel a whole lot better.
Oh, it sure will. I mean, nice taking an at bat, even though he's throwing 97, 98. Really take that breaking ball away. He hasn't shown good command with it. Getting on the inside fastball, hammering it through the hole, picking up another RBI and creating a little separation here now with the 6 runs on the board.
6-2 ball game. Cruz starting the day 6th in the league in RBIs, leading the Orioles with the 76 runs batted in now. Here's J.J. Hardy. Hardy a double RBI, 1 for 3 in the game. Orioles now have put up 12 hits. 6 runs, 12 hits for the Orioles. 2 runs, 6 hits for Toronto. Runners off first and second. Hardy will take it up. And you can see what Nick was talking about with Sanchez. That strike zone wanders around on him, and he ends up generally working behind hitters.
Yeah, big arm, but not much for control and efficiency.
That's going to miss. So the count goes 3-0 on Hardy. Orioles 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight. Both teams have had some chances. Orioles have left 7 so far. Toronto 5 left on. And that pitch will be a strike. Jays 1 for 7 in that scoring position department tonight. 3-1. Outfield shaded a bit to right. Infield straight up on Hardy. Sanchez delivers to him down to third. Valencia short hops it. Okay, you got me. So the force out on Young will retire the side. RBI picked up by Cruz adds another here in the 6th, and the Orioles extend it 6-2.
Caleb Joseph staying red hot, getting on the breaking ball from Burley, 93 miles an hour off the bat. Jonathan Scope, they go back to back. This is a missile, though, 106 miles an hour off the bat of Scope. And then Chris Davis, where has it been? Here it is. Welcome back to Canada. He has been red hot here in the Rogers Center. 103 miles an hour off the bat of Davis, his 9th home run in his career here in Canada. 24 home runs against the Blue Jays in his career. Pretty good pitching performance by Bud Norris. 5 strong innings, 6 hits, couple earned runs. He gave up a solo shot to Rasmus. 76 pitches. Burley with the early exit. Only 4 innings pitched. The Orioles get him for 10 hits, 4 earned runs. Remember, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So Bud Norris again with a better lead than when he went into the dugout, 6-2, as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Juan Francisco will lead it off. Francisco, Valencia, and Rasmus. Francisco has struck out, flied out to center field, shift on, pitch, a strike. 2 runs picked up by Toronto coming in the 4th inning on the home run by Rasmus, his 15th of the year. The Orioles have had contributions tonight from everybody in the lineup with the 6 runs and 12 hits. Markakis has got 2 singles. Manny Machado single and a run scored. Jones has picked up a base hit, a walk. Young has had 2 hits. Cruz an RBI single. Hardy a double RBI. Davis home run and a walk. Joseph a home run. Jonathan Scope a home run and a single. That's pretty good.
A pretty nice carryover from last night's ball game where the offense really came alive. I mean, they picked up 10 hits in 2 innings against the Nationals. They really got the confidence going with everybody. And here, putting on quite a performance.
0-2 delivery on the way, foul back. Nobody has yet found the formula or the numbers as to when the streaks are going to come when you don't hit, either as a team or individually, and when that streak's going to end. They come and they go at will.
They really do.
And you don't see it coming, and sometimes you don't see it ending. 0-2 count on Francisco. And he gets him. 6 strikeouts for Norris.
Boy, has this pitch come up big for Bud Norris in this ball game, really all season long. That power slider down and into the lefty. You get on the side of the baseball. Great velocity with this pitch, 87 miles an hour, and it just disappears in there under the hands. Big first out right there. Big strikeout for Norris.
Bud on the road this year, 4-5 record, an ERA of 4.6, which is almost, it is 2 runs higher than his ERA at home. But he's having a tremendous road start here against Toronto. Pitch will be taken down low. Valencia came on to field when Laurie had to go out of the ball game with the back that was bothering him. Precautionary move to get him out. And then he got an at bat. Valencia did in the 4th inning and grounded out. Norris the 1-0 delivery, and he went fishing on that one. 1-1.
Well, it really makes Bud so effective as he throws his off-speed pitches so hard. He's got the great fastball. We've seen it get up to 97 in this ball game. When you can back it up with the hard slider, so hard to pick up the rotation. A lot of times you're getting geared up for the heat. Just good enough late movement to get off the bat.
Well, Toronto's 4 games out. The Yankees are 5 games out. The Yankees have won 3 in a row. They are tied again with Detroit tonight, a 3-3 ball game. We've got Price against Kuroda in that one. 2-1 delivery on the way. That one ripped by Valencia for a base hit. Cruz over to get it. Valencia is on with 1 out here in the 6th inning. And as promised earlier in the game, our AT&T's fan photo. Gather round for the picture. Mike Showalter on his way out, and that will be it for Bud Norris. He will leave the ball game working 5 1/3 innings. Brian Mattis had been up in the bullpen the last inning he will come on to pitch. Norris leaves though with a chance to win his 9th this year.
Against the Blue Jays, a power hitting team, and he had to come up with some big pitches, and he did. A high fastball to get Batista. Ghost goes down 94, moving away, and the slider comes up big to get Francisco. Another one here to get Ghost. Look at the movement on the fastball down in the zone. Another big strikeout there with a power slider from Bud Norris. Take a look at his pitch arsenal tonight. 59% fastballs, came up big with the breaking ball 39% of the time on the season. He used it 29% of the time. So the go-to pitch tonight. Not many changeups in the ball game. Pretty good line. 5 1/3, 7 hits, and a couple earned runs.
Brian Madison with a runner on at first base. 1 down. Kobe Rasmus, and he'll take it for a strike.
Time for the Jiffy Lube pitching change. Change is good, especially when it's your oil getting changed at Jiffy Lube. Give your vehicle relief with regular oil changes at Jiffy Lube and help stretch out the life of your engine. Take a look at Brian Madison's pitch arsenal. The fastball 54% of the time, breaking ball 35% of the time, and the change 11% of the time. Good mix, very effective with all of his pitches. Good numbers against the lefties this season. Take a look on the year. That 3.92 earned run average has come down. A great month of July where he didn't give up a run. On the season, opponents hitting 266, lefties down to 221, righties at 309. Great number. Inherited runners stranded 78% for Brian Mattis.
Rasmus at the plate with the 1-ball 1-strike count. Valencia off first, swings through that one. Rasmus has had no luck against Brian Mattis, going just 1 for 12 in the times he's faced him, and here goes that shift again. They did not have the shift on until they got the 2-strike count. Charts say 2 strikes. He'll try and pull the ball even more. Rasmus, the home run in the 4th inning, is 15th. Mattis delivers to him, and that'll be way outside. That tells you something about hitters in this day and age, and this isn't a knock on Rasmus, but we see this more and more where the shift isn't put on until the batter gets 2 strikes. It used to be you'd go the other way, that the guy who's got 2 strikes on him is going to try and take the ball to any field where it's pitched to, just try and get it in somewhere. But nowadays swings can get even harder when they're behind in the count. That'll miss outside, and the count goes to 3-2.
Well, a lot of times hitters just don't trust themselves to back the baseball up. There are some great hitters that with 2 strikes have a good solid approach and then let the ball travel, but a lot of times hitters get antsy with 2 strikes. They just want to get the bat head out and try to protect from the big strikeout. That's why you see so many shifts with the 2 strikes. Reimhold in the on-deck circle.
3-ball, 2-strike count, 1 away. Valencia will stay right there at first base as Brian Mattis wins the battle and gets the strikeout.
Take a look at the Nissan pitch track here. Just challenging Rasmus with the fastball, 92 miles an hour. Dotted on that outer third. Good pitch from Mattis.
So the Orioles seeing both former Orioles in this game. Valencia, who got the base hit, is on at first base, and now here is Nolan Reimold. Real solid numbers and limited at bats for Reimold. Only his 9th game, only 23 times to the plate, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs for Reimold, and the pitch will be taken for a strike. Reimold's going to get playing time with the bat if he can continue to hit the way he has started for the Jays. He'll just add to a power laden lineup. Pinch hitting here for Kawasaki, who had a single, 1 for 2. And Reimold takes the delivery from Mattis down low, 1-1.
There was always that hope when he was with the Orioles that he could get healthy again and really contribute. He put up some pretty good numbers in his opportunities with the Orioles, but then health became a problem. Couldn't get on the field.
First at bat he's ever had against his former team, and a big cut on the lefty. 1 ball, 2 strike count to Reimold. Bottom of the 6th inning, Orioles have the 6-2 lead. Valencia's hit with a 7th for Toronto in the ball game. Orioles knocked Burley out after just 4 innings, 4 runs, 10 hits against the left-hander. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Reimold will take it inside, and it'll go to 2-2. Going to have the adrenaline and the nerves running a little bit in this at bat.
Oh yeah.
Infield back deep, outfield straight away on him. Mattis with a 2-2, and that is fouled off at the plate.
Good breaking ball right there from Mattis. He's really been able to make some adjustments and bear down. I mean, incredible month of July. See the pitch track, good location on all of his offerings. Down and in to Reimold.
Two delivery went outside. So another hitter goes 3-2. Rasmus did. Ryan Mattis struck him out. Reimold does. And with 2 down, that will send the runner. Davis reminding Mattis he will be moving behind Danny Valencia at first base. Three-two delivery, and he got him. Ooh, he fooled him. Looking fastball, didn't get it. Mattis will get the strikeout, coming on and striking out 2 with a base runner left on. Our Mazda do-ups. Chris Davis, Caleb Joseph, Jonathan Scope when we come back. Part of it, the home runs on our Lexus drive of the game.
Chris Davis, he getting on a high fastball, 97 miles an hour. He turns it around 103 miles an hour to get out of the park. Staying red hot here in the Rogers Center.
Our Lexus at Towson drive of the game brought to you by Lexus at Towson, the area's #1 Lexus dealer. Come see why at LexusAtTowson.com. Goins going to come on to play at second base. Reimold will stay in the game playing right, and Bautista will move to center, with Ghosts coming out of the lineup and Cecil coming on to pitch.
Brett Cecil, really the main cog in this Blue Jays bullpen. 56% fastballs, 37% breaking balls, the changeup at 7%.
And his first delivery will be taken by Davis for a strike.
Last year made the All-Star team. This year some struggles. 4.28 earned run average. See the opponent batting average 254, lefties 276, righties at 237.
Aaron Sanchez worked 2 innings, charged with a run on 2 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Coming on for Burley, pitcher of record, 4 runs, 10 hits over 4. Bud Norris's final line, couple of runs on 7 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Davis with a 1-ball, 2-strike count on that delivery. Chris getting that home run in the 5th inning with nobody on, 18th of the year. He's also drawn a walk in the game and has struck out. And the check on that one, it'll miss. 2-2.
A pretty good curveball from Brett Cecil, a one-time starter converted to the bullpen. And he has that full arsenal. Lefties see a pretty good mix of his fastball and curveball. Mix in a cutter as well.
Davis will take it. He's gone, and Davis is now 2 for 13 in his career off Cecil, who will start his outing with a strikeout. Time running out for your chance to back the Birds for the 14 playoff chase and have savings with that Birdland Summer 6-pack. It's a ticket to any 6 games of your choice, up to 20% off the cost of single game tickets. Lock in your seats and games right now at Orioles.com/6-pack, or you can call 888-848-BIRD. Caleb Joseph at the plate. Joseph will take it up high for a ball. Caleb picking up a home run, his 6th, that came in the 4th inning. Davis, Joseph, Jonathan Scope hitting 7, 8, 9 have all had home runs in this ball game. Brett Cecil, 1-0 count, 1 away, and the uppercut miss.
Pretty nasty breaking ball, the righty right there. I mean, late finish. It was down, but threw it hard. Likes to bury that pitch on the back foot to the righties.
One delivery on the way, and that one's going to miss up high as well. So Cecil with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Orioles have responded. Anytime it looked like Toronto might get back into the ball game, the Orioles come right back to extend the lead again. Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way to third base, hit hard right at Valencia. Boy, he stung the ball tonight. 1 to third, 1 to first, and 1 out of the yard.
Yeah, even his outs are hard. Another great swing here, down and in. Just getting to it right at Valencia.
That's the 2nd out here in the 7th. Jonathan Scope, single homer, and he has struck out. Back-to-back homers with Joseph in the 4th inning. And the pitch by the left-hander will miss away. Brett Cecil against the Orioles this year is 0-1. 5th game he's appeared in. He's worked 2 2/3 innings prior to tonight, giving up 4 runs on 4 hits, 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. A lot of crooked numbers for Brett Cecil against the Orioles this year. Scope with a 2-0 count. And he's up high with that one. Orioles have struck out 7 times in the game. They have drawn 5 walks in the ball game. Norris surrendered only 2 free passes while striking out 6, and Brian Mattis added 2 Ks. Here's the 3-0 delivery. It'll be taken for a strike. Orioles with a victory last night against Washington and got another series win, so that's their 20th series win of the year. Coming in 5-5 against the Jays. That's a strike. 19 games played against the Eastern Division ball clubs, of course, on the year, so these 2 teams are going to see each other again and again. 3 at home in September against Toronto for the Orioles, and then the final 3 games of the season, regular season, are going to be played here in Toronto. Will it matter?
The Orioles obviously hope they can really extend the lead in the division. Blue Jays hoping they can really pull things together when they get the rest of their team back from the disabled list.
And came back on him, then lost him. Though Brett Cecil surrenders a 2-out walk here in the 7th inning. Well, the Yankees somehow continue to win ball games. We've talked about it, and it looks like, I mean, Tanaka's throwing the ball flat ground, just soft toss, but it looks like he's going to be able to get back maybe by September. Wow, that's what they're talking about now. Pineda also looks like he's going to be back before that. That would really bolster the Yankees. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. The Orioles, it's in their hands. That's the beauty of it, having that lead at this point in the season. 0-1 count, 2 down. Markakis has picked up a couple of singles, a walk, and he has struck out. He has scored a run. And he will take the pitch up high. Cecil struggling with it a bit here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Jonathan Schoop held at first by Francisco. And again, Cecil just puts his head up in the air like, what is going on here? And the count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, command just disappearing. Tried to come back to Jonathan Schoop, but gives up the walk, and now here missing with the fastball. Pitching coach Pete Walker looking on. You see the pitch track, bad misses up and out of the zone.
Nick came in with the 10th best road average in the league at 308. Runner goes. Taken. That's a strike in the inside corner, and that's a stolen base. I don't know if I'd give that one up that freely at this point of the ball game.
No, I know. Every run matters. I mean, this could be crucial right here. Every tack on run you can put up. I think both teams realize how dangerous the offense can be and become, really explode for some big runs.
Timeout taken, and they will have a meeting on the mound. Navarro going out. I mean, Jonathan Schoop just walked off the bag, and they weren't trying to hold him, and nor was there even an attempt to make a throw. It's his first stolen base and his first try. See him over there with the lead. There he goes. There's absolutely no reaction.
All right. Well, really all about the timing of it. I mean, Cecil trying to get his command back, so he wasn't even thinking about Schoop at first.
Won't matter as he's able to come back and get the strikeout on Markakis. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. 7th inning stretch time in Toronto. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. Gary Thorne, Mike Warnick with you. Oriole fans cheering him on. 6-2 lead here in Toronto. Not only are the Jays in the chase, but so are the Yankees. We were just talking about them. You take a look, the American League East schedule, the breakdown: Orioles, Blue Jays, Yankees. SOS strength of schedule.
Yeah, Orioles seem to have the easier go of it down the stretch. And that's obviously in favor of the Orioles. Blue Jays a little bit tougher. Yankees will be tough for them, but hey, you can never count the Yankees out.
No, they certainly have proven that this year. Brian Mattis stays on. Ryan Goings will get his first at bat. Goings coming on to play at second base, hitting ninth. Ghosts, who had been in center field in that spot, is out. Bottom half of the seventh inning, Mattis striking out 2 when he came on in the 6th. Goings will lace that one to left. He's got a base hit. Lefty on lefty, and the batter wins that one. Orioles bullpen active with Tommy Hunter. Leadoff man on, 7th inning. Reyes, leadoff batter, a double, a walk, and he has flied out. Cabrera, the switch hitter, next batter up. So see how Buck Showalter wants to play that, depending on what Reyes does. Very short lead. Goings at first. Again going after the first pitch and fouls it back. Reyes has not waited around to watch pitches tonight.
He sure hasn't. If he gets a pitch up in the zone, he's been aggressive on it. The Blue Jays bullpen, Aaron Loop warming up down there. Good look at his cross-body delivery. Very effective against the lefties.
Reyes hitting .263 right-handed and .287 left. His power has been from the other side. He's had 1 home run hitting this way, 7 the other way. Mattis with the 0-1 delivery to him. That's going to be a base hit. He stung that one. Jones will hold the runner at second. So the Jays have 2 on, bottom of the 7th.
Looking pretty good at bats here. Goins taking the ball the other way. Reyes as well, staying short to the ball, and Buck Showalter now out to make the pitching change.
So Brian Mattis will work 2/3 of an inning, charged with 2 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and with Cabrera coming up and nobody out, here comes Hunter.
Fastball 75% of the time. Now he can cut it. Got a 2-seamer off that. Of course, that power 4-seamer He's touched 99 this year with it. Breaking ball 25% of the time. Very rarely does he use the change. 38 games this season, 3.86 earned run average, 31 strikeouts, 11 walks in 39 2/3 innings of work. Opponents hitting .255 overall. Lefties at .239, righties at .269. Look at the inherited runners. What an unbelievable number there. 94%. It's pretty impressive. Just one runner scoring out of 17.
So another big moment in this ball game as the Blue Jays rather get the first two on here. Goings on at second base and Reyes on at first. Melky Cabrera single is flied out and walked. And a big at bat. 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position for the ball club. Cabrera's 2 for 5 off Hunter. And he will take the pitch for a strike. Well, the Orioles bullpen again called on to get it done, protect the lead. Tommy's worked against the ball club 4 previous games, 4 innings against Toronto, 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Cabrera will take it inside. Bautista's the on deck batter. So the heart of the Jays order up here in the 7th inning. Table setters, they've done their job. That's going to miss. Hunter trying to get that inside corner. 2-1.
Just missing there, trying to bring the 2-seamer back at 96. Just off that inside edge with his third pitch. Couple misses in there.
Cabrera doesn't much matter right or left. 274 right-handed, 322 left-handed. 9 of his home runs have been hit left-handed, 9 out of 14. So overall this has been the better side for him. Cabrera back in, 2-1. And he's going to get a base hit into left field. It's going to load him up. Throw comes into the cutoff man. Cabrera's on. Bases loaded. Nobody out in the 7th for Bautista.
Bautista had a big opportunity in his last at bat. With runners at first and second and nobody out, he grounded into a double play. Tommy Hunter would love for him to ground into that double play here in this situation. But he did not want to give Bautista too many opportunities.
4 grand slams in his career. Hunter has had the better of it against Bautista. It was just 7 for 31 against him. Goings at third, a single. Reyes a single at second. Cabrera a single at first. Pitch taken for a strike. Bautista with the bases loaded this year has gone 1 for 4. A single. And delivery to him. Ball put up in the air to right field. Nick Markakis has got it lined up. Runner will tag at third. Goings will score. Over to third base goes Reyes. So a sac fly and an RBI for Bautista. And they get 1 run closer, 6-3.
Well, the double tag gets Reyes over to third base. So another opportunity to put one across, but the double play remains in order. One pitch here to get him out of this jam.
Cleanup batter Navarro coming up. Navarro, that base hit came in the 4th inning, struck out his last time up, flied out in the 1st inning. Only 1 away. Runners at first and third. Navarro 3 for 7 off Hunter. And he fouls it off, and sounded like he needs some new lumber. Left-hander Andrew Miller in the bullpen for the Orioles. Juan Francisco, left-hander, due up next. So Toronto down but not out. And falling behind in the ball game 6-2. Had a run here in the 7th. And trying to do more damage.
They put together some pretty good at bats here in this inning. Starting off with Goins going the other way, picking up the single, and Reyes picking up his second base hit right back up the middle, and Cabrera stayed on the high fastball going the other way as well. So not trying to do too much, just getting on base, putting the pressure on.
Ground ball to short. What they needed. The Orioles. Hardy, Jonathan Scope, and there's the big double play. And the Orioles, who turn more of those than anybody else, get one at a big moment in this game. 1 run in on 3 hits. Double play ends it, and the Orioles lead it by 3. Eye Institute. From routine to the most specialized eye care, LifeBridge Health's Krieger Eye Institute handles it all. Call 410-601-2020 for a same-day appointment.
A couple more night games here in the Rogers Center, and then they go back home. Cardinals come into town, back for some interleague action. Friday it's a night game, then 4 o'clock on Saturday, 1:30 post time on Sunday.
36,183, 36,183 on hand. Big crowd. Ball game still up for grabs in this one.
Dustin McGowan, the veteran right-hander, really having some success out in the Blue Jays bullpen. Fastball 68% of the time, breaking ball 22% of the time, and the changeup 10%. A pretty good live arm as well. Still holding good velocity in the mid-90s. 36 games this year, 4.01 earned run average. 52 strikeouts, 26 walks. Opponents hitting 247 overall. Lefties at 256 and the righties 239.
So the Orioles will try and add to their lead again. Manny Machado will start it out. Machado, Jones, Young due up, 8th inning. Machado a base hit. Reached on the fielder's choice in the 6th inning and scored a run. McGowan's delivery tied him up, but it's going to be inside, and he was able to hold up. Machado's got a 1 for 3 off McGowan. Third member of the bullpen to be used by Toronto tonight. 2-0 delivery. That's in the dirt. Sanchez worked 2 innings, a run on 2 hits. Cecil an inning. Couple of strikeouts and a walk. Now McGowan barely charged with 5 on 10 over 4. And a 6-3 Orioles lead. Out hitting the Jays 12-10. 3-0 delivery. Manny will take for a strike.
McGowan actually started the year as a starter and moved him out to the bullpen where he's had some better success out there.
That'll be in there for a strike. And as a result, has set a new high already in games appeared in. Obviously, a lot more of that when you're in the pen. 36 games, now 37. New career high, 27 the previous because he'd been a starter. 3-ball, 2-strike count. And after all that, he walked him. So he came back from a 3-0 count to take it full, but we'll put him on, and that's a leadoff walk here in the 8th inning. Follow every Orioles game with MLB.com at bat, your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, highlights, and more. Download it at the App Store or go to Orioles.com today. Orioles leadoff man on here in the 8th. That'll bring up Jones. Single, walk. He has popped out and flied out. So the Orioles get their middle part of the order here in the 8th to try and add to the 3-run lead. High set. Gowan's delivery will be ripped to left field with a stay up. Diving, no! Trap. Throw to second won't be in time for a force. Melky Cabrera trying to get there in time, could not. Jones is going to get a base hit, and Cabrera is going to get a rug burn.
Yeah, that ball was smoked out there. He thought he could get there in the air. Nice little short hop pick, though. Almost sold the catch. This ball is roped out to left field. He's pretty lucky that ball didn't get by him, though. Machado probably would have had a good chance to score.
So the Orioles get runners on at first and second with nobody out, and they'll get Young to the plate. Delman Young, a base hit, a walk, run scored. Fielder's choice. He's had 2 singles in the game, and now he gets another RBI chance. He's the designated hitter for the Orioles. And the pitch will be outside, hard slider for a ball. 13 Oriole hits. Young has faced McGowan 16 times previously. He's had a couple of hits. Orioles off first and second. 1-0 delivery. Another hard pitch away. 1-1.
Well, he's got the good stuff. I mean, power stuff. We've seen his fastball here in this inning get up to 98. That slider, 89 miles an hour. Look at the Nissan pitch track. Pretty good location on that slider, down and away.
Young takes it. That's going to miss down low. So Delman works the count in his favor. 2 balls and 1 strike. Delman's hit 4 long balls here in this ballpark in his career. It's been a good yard for him. 278 career average coming into the ball game. Dustin McGowan with a look to second. 2-1. And that's going to miss. Down low again, skimmed across the plate. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Nelson Cruz waiting on deck. Nobody out.
A hard time finding the command. Walking Manny Machado. Falling behind here to Young.
Orioles have drawn 6 walks in the ball game. 3-1 delivery to him. 3-2. Probably ball 4, but trying to take it the other way.
Get yourself in a good hitter's count. Take a good aggressive cut at it. That one just moving off the outside corner.
Three-2, nobody out. Machado at second, Jones at first. 3-2 delivery to him. Young will foul it back.
Pretty healthy rip there on the 3-2 count. Talk about Delman Young all year long about the way he prepares himself, whether he's in the field defensively or coming up for a pinch hit in a ball game. DHing tonight, but always ready.
Young's only 28 years old. Seems though he's older than that. He's been around a while. That's ball 4. Boy, the Orioles certainly getting their share of free passes in this game. So the Orioles have loaded the bases here in the 8th inning with nobody out. Toronto pitching just unable to find a way to get the Orioles out, and Cruz is going to get a chance now with the bases loaded. And the Orioles with a chance here in the 8th inning, perhaps blow the doors off this thing, or as close as you can get to doing that. 8 career grand slams for him. Machado got the walk at third, Jones the single second, walk to Young at first. Cruz a 2 for 10 off McGowan. 1 home run. Outside for a ball.
Good take, pretty good slider down and away. We've seen him swing at some of those pitches down and away running off the plate. Look at Aaron Loop out in the Blue Jays bullpen, up for the 2nd time in the ball game.
Infield drawn in. 1-0 delivery on the way, and Cruz will take that, and it's outside 2-0. That'll bring Reyes in to talk to McGowan.
Walker will come in to talk to him. I think Reyes saying, hey, we're getting on our heels out here. Be more aggressive in the zone. We'll make a play behind you. Help get you out of this inning. But right now, see Chad Jenkins joining Loop in the bullpen. He's having some problems finding the strike zone, falling behind some very dangerous hitters in this Orioles lineup.
This has not been a good night for the Toronto pitchers. They've thrown a lot of pitches, given up 6 runs on 13 hits, have walked 7. Infield all the way in for this 2-0 pitch to Cruz. Cruz has been the Orioles' bases loaded man this year. Delivery to him, and that will be a strike at the knees. Nelson's gone 6 for 12 with the bases loaded. 2 grand slams, 1 double.
Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. Catching the bottom of the box there for the first strike. Also thinking just a little bit low there.
2-1 delivery, and he'll foul it back. So McGowan able to come back and even the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6-3, still very much in reach for Toronto if they can hold the Orioles down. Orioles have stranded 10 in the ball game. Toronto's left 7, 1 in every inning. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Cruz puts it up in the air, center field, deeper than Bautista thought. Way back, he'll make the catch. Tagging up, Machado will score. Jones makes his way over to third, and Young goes down to second. So a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Cruz, and the Orioles make it a 7-3 ball game.
A nice job right there by Nelson Cruz, and good job by the Orioles base runners. Delman Young and Adam Jones double tagging there, get themselves into scoring position and out of the double play opportunity. Nelson Cruz being high-fived by his teammates.
So Nelson with a couple of RBIs in the ball game tonight. Keeps him up there in that top category. He's got 77 RBIs, 6th in the league. Infield will stay in. 2 in scoring position now for Hardy. And JJ will take it outside for a ball. Hardy against McGowan is 1 for 9. Orioles have had everybody involved in the offense, as we mentioned earlier. Just every inning something going on. There has not been a clean inning for any of the 4 Toronto pitchers. 1-0 delivery. Hardy will take. It's there.
Well, when this Orioles offense is rolling, this is what they do. They constantly put pressure on the pitcher, on the defense, and we haven't seen this in a while from the Orioles offense. But back-to-back nights where they've really come alive in this ball game, it's just been from the first inning on, they've put the pressure on this team. They really potentially have blown this game out with as many opportunities as they've had. You said 10 runners left on by the Orioles.
They've scored in 5 different innings. You love to see that, where the offense continues to grind away. Infield way in. Here's the 2-1 delivery to Hardy. That drawn in infield will cost him a base hit and another RBI. Young will stop at third. Scoring is Jones. RBI for Hardy, his second of the ball game, and the Orioles lead it 8-3.
Manager John Gibbons has seen enough here. An inconsistent command and control, falling behind a lot of tough hitters, and he's going to take him out of the game and into the bullpen again.
So the Orioles not only winning the ball game, but forcing Gibbons to go deep into that pen in the first game of the 3-game set. Orioles lead at 8-3.
Orioles offense really forcing the issue here. He uses fastball 68% of the time, breaking ball 12% in the change 20% of the time. It's a pretty good fastball with some deception. Cross-body delivery from Loop, 3.22 earned run average, 43 strikeouts, 26 walks. Opponents hitting 200 overall. Big number against the lefties with just 145 batting average.
So he's in to face Davis, and Davis goes after the first pitch, pops it up, long run Cabrera or anybody. Oh, nice sliding catch. Runner tags. It's going to be a sacrifice pop-up. Good heads up base running by the Orioles, and Davis will be credited with the RBI. Fine play by Danny Valencia. He was the only one on that side of the infield because of the shift. And Cabrera, the left fielder, was way around, so Valencia the only one remotely close, and he made the catch. But then he was down, and heads up baseball gets another run in as Delman Young tagged and scored.
That really was helping Chris Davis out. Valencia with a nice play, good concentration here. I mean, the outs here are really important. A big time play to get the second out. But with the tag by Young, Orioles increase that lead.
So a 9-3 ball game, a 2 RBI game now for Davis. One on the home run and one on that sac pop-up. Now Joseph with 2 down, a runner on at second base. As Hardy was heads up, as you would expect, and he tagged up and went 2 with the throw coming to the plate. He could just walk down to second. McFarland, the left-hander, along with on the left side, and Andrew Miller, the lefty, on the right. Figure that out. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. And the pitch outside. 3 runs in this inning, charged to McGowan. He's also responsible for Hardy. Joseph, the home run, 4th inning, his 6th. Ended up with back-to-back shots with Jonathan Scope. Chris Davis has homered in the ball game as well. Orioles have never trailed, getting on the board in the 3rd. They were ahead 4-0, then 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3, and now 9-3. Here's the 2-2 delivery by Luke, and he'll miss. So another 3-2 count. Joseph trying to pick up the RBI. Base hit would bring Hardy in with 2 down. Hardy moving on contact. And that ball to center field. Bautista's out there, and he will make the catch. The Orioles have a big 3-run 8th inning and extend their lead now 9-3. Toronto, and that's get that lead up. 9-3 going to the bottom half of the 8th inning. David Lowe will come on to play in left field. Nelson Cruz out of the ball game, and to keep the bullpen as fresh as possible, Buck will continue to make changes.
Sure. Andrew Miller now into the ball game. 60% fastball usage this year. That breaking ball, the big sweeping slider, 40% of the time. He's put up some great numbers on the season. 2.25 earned run average, 71 strikeouts in his 44 innings of work. Take a look at the opponent batting average. Overall at 162. Lefties just 145, and the righties just 174. Pretty big weapon coming out of this Orioles bullpen. Great addition. It's been strong. It got a lot stronger with Miller now added. That cross body delivery, 6'7". Stepping across the body, so not many people get a look at this type of delivery. I mean, such long arms coming out of the Orioles dugout. Really hard to pick up his pitches.
Miller will be working in his 3rd game as an Oriole. Juan Francisco, a couple of strikeouts, and he's flied out. And Miller's pitch to him will be in there for a strike. With the Orioles hitting in 2/3 so far for the lefty. He hasn't given up a hit. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts for him with the Orioles. Infield shift on against Francisco, fouls it off the fist, and Miller will get ahead of him. Hunter worked an inning, gave up just 1 hit, 0s across the rest of it. Brian Mattis 2/3 of an inning, a run on 2 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And a swing and a miss. And that's what Miller tends to do. Boy, you better come ready to swing, because you're probably going to see strikes.
Yeah, he can beat you a couple different ways with the power fastball like he does here. 95 up and in. Of course, has a big sweeping slider as well, but Boy, that got on him quick.
One down in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Valencia single, 1 for 2 in the ball game. And the pitch to him will be taken up high. Jays pitching staff, I was just looking with all the walks the Orioles have picked up tonight. They have struggled with that all year. Jays are 13th in the league in walks surrendered, averaging almost 3.5 walks per game. John Gibbons, former catcher, that'll drive you nuts. And they certainly surrendered them in this ball game. 7 so far. Valencia waiting on it, all of them inside. And the count goes to 3-0. Rasmus waiting on deck. Takes it. High strike will be called there. 3-1. Right back here tomorrow night for game 2. Wei and Chen, Drew Hutchison will go. Game 3's got Miguel Gonzalez and J.A. Happ. And Valencia's on with a walk. It's only the 3rd walk surrendered by the 4 Oriole pitchers. Orioles have this short trip starting in Washington with a rain makeup, winning last night 3 games here. Then the Orioles going to come right back home. And again, doesn't get any easier, and the game's equally important, as the Orioles will have the St. Louis Cardinals in for 3 over the weekend, and then the Yankees will be in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, as the Orioles will be heading to the middle of August with those games. That pitch is in there for a strike. Colby Rasmus, the long ball tonight, is 15th. 2 RBI shot came in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game.
Now, when does that strength of schedule start letting up?
There is none.
Like it does it all. Every team very dangerous.
And as Toronto found out, don't be baking your cookies against teams that may be playing below 500. Houston showed we still play here in this league. 0-2 count. Now the shift is put on. Miller's delivery will miss. Runner on at first base, 1 down in the 8th.
The Orioles have been helped out with a couple ground ball double plays in this game to get them out of some jams. Hoping for one right here.
Miller evens the count up on that delivery. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Orioles bullpen, 3rd fewest walks per 9 innings for a bullpen in the American League. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and after getting ahead, takes it full 3-2. Not what he had in mind. Orioles are trying to send the Jays to their 4th consecutive loss and pick up for the O's their 3rd consecutive win. 3-2 delivery to him, foul back. Rasmus late on a fastball.
Rasmus put together a pretty good swing in this ball game, a 2-run shot. Getting pitched tough, everything working away on the outer third and beyond.
Fights that one off. Keep the at bat going. Rasmus will keep it at 3-2. These 2 teams came in pretty equal against Eastern Division opponents. The Orioles are 26-18. Toronto 26-19 against the American League East. But both have done a good job in the tough East. And he got him. Catches the inside corner on the 3-2 count. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Miller.
Well, after working them some sliders away, this one he front doors it. Rasmus Buckles goes back over to catch the inside corner. Take a look from atop as it sweeps across the inside corner for big strike 3.
Nolan Reimold. Reimold struck out, only chance he had. 6th inning, and stayed in the ballgame to play in right. Runner at first base, 2 away now. And Miller way outside. Falls behind 2-0.
Made some really good pitches to both lefties he had to face. There are a couple strikeouts, but Valencia with the walk and now falling behind Nolan.
Swinging strike. Going for the long ball. Reimold. 2-ball, 1 strike count. Cardinals are making their run around the American League East now. They've got Boston in St. Louis. And way inside is Miller. So the count goes to 3-1. Only problem with this game is there's an inning left. 3-1 count with 2 down. Miller's delivery. And he walked him. So a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts for Andrew Miller here in the 8th inning. 2 away. Goings coming up. He's had only 1 at bat, and he singled in the 7th inning and scored a run. Couple of runs on the Rasmus home run and that RBI sac fly by Bautista in the 7th inning. 2 on and 2 down. Goings will take it for a strike.
Well, it looks like he feels more comfortable against the lefties.
It does, doesn't it?
Good job getting ahead there.
Goings 136 off left-handers. Got one he could hit, but didn't. And a 2-strike count. Meandering around in the bullpen is Chad Jenkins. That's a reliever who's ready to go. Oh-2 delivery on the way and a chopper to third. Force plate, nope, got to go to first. And there's where that strong arm mattered. With a shift on, Jonathan Scope couldn't get over there in time. So Manny Machado, who looked, then decided I better get the out at first base and did. 2 are left on. Orioles up by 6. Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use. Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick, and again to the bullpen.
Chad Jenkins just recently recalled the end of July. Uses his fastball at 81% of the time. Pretty good one in the low 90s. Can touch 94, 95 at times. A breaking ball 17% of the time. That change, it's a split finger. See the numbers on the year. 327 earned run average, 18 games. Opponents hitting 250. Lefties up to 300. Righties at 208.
Jenkins really making the trek to Buffalo a lot. This is his 5th time up with the big club. And he will come inside with it. Recalled on the 31st of July this last time. Orioles bat in the 9th inning with a 9-3 lead. Jonathan Scope at the plate. A home run, a single. And he's drawn a walk and struck out. Orioles have had a lot of at-bats in this ball game with long innings. Orioles have had somebody on in every inning, as have the Jays. Ground ball towards third this time. Valencia's got it. Markakis and Manny Machado due up.
There have been some really good things, obviously, that have happened in this ball game. Markakis picking up another multi-hit game, a couple singles in the ball game. The Orioles offense exploding again, putting 9 runs up on the board, and all the contributors. But think back at the beginning of this ball game, how many balls Nick Markakis cut off in right field and held the Toronto hitters to singles. 3 times there that could potentially have led to, an inning that might have shut down the Orioles' hopes a little bit. But Markakis' defense holding them to singles kept them in check.
Nick's arm precedes him, of course. 10 assists, among the leaders in that department in the outfield. And because he's done it for so many years consistently, in the back of the minds of opponents, I'm not going to run. If the ball goes to right field, it's not I'm going to try and get the extra base, it's I'm not going to run.
Right.
And so you just slow down, and they don't even try anymore. That'll go to center field, driving Bautista back a few steps. Markakis is retired. 2-hit ball game for him. McFarland up for the 2nd time. Manny Machado with 2 down, nobody on here in the 9th inning. Manny he's had only 1 hit, but he has scored twice. Once when he walked, once when he reached on a fielder's choice. Orioles had an inning in the 6th where they ended up with 3 fielder's choice plays in the 6th inning. They scored a run on 1 hit and 3 fielder's choice. I don't see that a lot. Machado in his hit streak at 5 games. Nick Markakis, his hit streak extended to 5 games tonight. Cruz contributing with a hit and 2 RBIs. Nelson hoping he can get out of the funk he was in. That'll go to right. Reimold, he's got it. 1-2-3 inning, the only one we have had in the ball game. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Forget the seatbelts. Shortly, hopefully, with a happy recap coming as the Orioles lead at 9-3, 3 outs away from the win.
TJ McFarland now in the ball game using that fastball at 72%. Pretty good two-seamer. There's a lot of ground balls with it. Breaking ball, that sweeping slider, uses it 19% of the time. Occasional change, 9%. 24 games, 4 wins on the season for TJ. Has been used in many different roles. 327 earned run average, 23 strikeouts, 11 walks on the season. Opponents hitting 302 overall. Lefties at 288, righties 313.
So McFarland, after the 3 to end it, Miller worked an inning, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Hunter an inning, a hit. Mattis 2/3 of an inning, a run on 2 hits. And the potential winning pitcher, the Orioles starter Bud Norris, 2 runs, 7 hits over 5 1/3. He walked 2 and struck out 6. Mark Burley driven out of the ball game with 5 runs on 10 hits in just 4 innings, is on the losing side of the ball game right now. Burley would drop to 11-8. Norris would improve to 9-7. Jose Reyes to lead it off, goes after the first pitch, and he's got a base hit. So he's got a 3-hit ball game with 2 singles and a double. And I don't think he's seen more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitches. He's come up swinging.
He's swinging the first pitch every time. Unbelievable. Gets a fastball. It's away, but it's up in the zone a little bit. Uses the turf to sneak it through. His 3rd base hit of the night.
That's 11 hits for Toronto. Cabrera singled last time up, 2 hits, 3 at bats, and a walk. Melky Cabrera with a runner at first base, and the pitch will be in there for a strike to him. Orioles offense just relentless in this ball game tonight. Cabrera 274 off the left-handers. Wow.
Blue Jays fans not liking it very much. It's the fastball down and in. Got him to move his feet. I think it was as bad as the crowd thought. Look as it works itself down and in. Cabrera, that's how you get a guy to move his feet right there.
Oh, and everything else. Comes back, driving one into the gap in left center field. Lowe going back, warning track wall. He's got it. David Lowe with an outstanding catch right in the corner, some 380 feet away.
And that was impressive right there. Cabrera getting into this one, driving it into a tough spot. One quick look at the wall. And into the left field wall and the center field wall. Nice play by David Lowe.
Real good running catch. 1 down. Reyes was all the way down to second, so he goes back to first base. Here's Bautista, held to an 0 for 3 and a sac fly. 1 down in the bottom of the 9th inning. Farland's delivery misses inside for a ball. Bautista coming in, hitting .324 against the Orioles on the year. Two teams right back here tomorrow night. Orioles with a win go 5 games up on the Jays. And that one is going to be fouled off.
Orioles pitchers have done a pretty good job of neutralizing Bautista in this ball game. Did have the sac fly with the bases loaded. He came up in the 5th with runners at first and second. Potential an opportunity for him to tie the ball game, but pretty much shut him down. Just that sac fly.
Again, the 1-1 cut that one in on him, and he did not get much of a swing at it at all.
Oh, that was a nasty slider right there. Hard one, hard offering from TJ. 86 miles an hour. That's where it ends up. Down and in. That's the spot he's working. He's executing those pitches very well.
1 down here in the 9th. 1-2 count. McFarland working. Bautista, the shattered bat. Probably a base hit. Yep. So he'll get the infield single, first hit of the ball game for Bautista. Reyes will go down to second base. For the Orioles tonight, the offense that started last night in Washington, they brought it right along to Canada.
Pretty impressive night. Of course, last night and tonight, 28 hits combined, all 9 starters with a hit tonight. Previous 5 games, 32 hits overall, 9 runs tonight. That's the most since June 1st at Houston. Nelson Cruz. Hopefully this is the night that gets him going. RBI single in the game. Previous 34 at bats, just the 1 hit.
2 on and 1 out. Navarro, their catcher, batting cleanup, a single, a run scored. He's 1 for 4. 2 on, 1 away. Infield double play depth and the pitch outside. The Yankees playing Detroit. If the Orioles hang on here, would have a chance to tie Toronto for second if they can win. They've been playing at 3-3 for a while. McFarland's delivery to him, ground ball to short. Hardy end this game. There's 1 off the bag, tag put on, and that's that. So the double play will end it, and the Orioles come away with an impressive 9-3 win tonight. The victory will go to Norris. He is 9-7. Burley takes the loss. He is 12-8, and the Orioles now have a 5-game lead on the Jays. Game 2 of this 3-game set coming up tomorrow. Wei and Chen will take the mound against Drew Hutchison. Our coverage on Masson begins at 6:30 with O's Extra, presented by Dodge, followed by our game coverage at 7. This has been a Masson presentation. A lot to recap, and a happy one it will be. Jim and Rick O's Extra, presented by PNC, is coming up right now. For Mike Bordick and all of our crew here in Toronto, I'm Gary Thorne from the Rogers Center. Adieu.